Hi everyone, welcome back to the Caistrology channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today we're going to be going through the January 2026 astrological predictions. So these will be predictions for all 12 zodiac signs. The video goes to air. If you'd like to help me out by commenting the timestamps for your sign in the comment section, that would be very much appreciated. So before we get into Aries, I just wanted to run through a bit of an intro in terms of what's really happening at the moment, astrologically speaking. So we've got Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, which is the anaretic degree in astrology. So that means that there's a fair degree of uncertainty and I dare say even like confusion that's hanging over us in some way or another. So Neptune is almost finished its 14-year-long cycle in Pisces. This will officially conclude pretty much right at the end of the month on the 26th or the 27th of January, depending where you live in the world. Now, from about mid-January, we will be in the eclipse pre-shadow period. So basically emotions will start to be running a bit higher, or maybe you'll experience important events occurring in your life, more so in the second half of January, but that is just something to be mindful of. So we've got an eclipse in Aquarius in February, and then we've got an eclipse in Virgo in March. And next month we've got our Mercury retrograde happening. So just a heads up in that respect. In terms of what's happening in January specifically, I would say that you're going to experience two very different and distinct energies this month. So basically, for the first 3 weeks, it's all about Capricorn energy. We've got a stellium in Capricorn. So a stellium means that there are 3 or 4 plus planets in a single sign. So we've got 4 planets, Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and Mars, all currently in Capricorn, and that will start to basically shift into an Aquarius stellium between the 20th and the 23rd of January. So let's call it the first 3 weeks of the month. It's Capricorn energy, which is going to be very much about your career, how you can be of service, your legacy that you want to create and leave behind. But more to the point, it's about being disciplined, being structured, being goal-oriented as well. And then those last basically 7 to 10 days of the month, we're shifting into this really heavy Aquarius energy. So we'll have 5 planets in Aquarius by the 23rd of January. We'll have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto all in Aquarius. So let's say the last third of the month or the last week of the month, it's going to be more about your network, your long-term goals and dreams, any communities that you are part of or wanting to form, and also humanitarian rights could be coming up in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so those are the general sort of astrological energies for the month of January. In addition to that, full moon in Cancer was literally just over 12 hours ago, which I will discuss in the individual horoscopes. We've got a new moon in Capricorn around the 18th, 19th of January. And we've also got Saturn in Pisces making a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. And it's also sextiling or involving Mars. So that is called a small talent triangle or a small grand trine, which is very auspicious looking, and it's going to indicate some kind of positive turn of events for you in your life. All right, so that was the intro. Also, of course, please remember to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and feel free to share it around as well. If you're wanting to see more astrological updates from me in between these videos, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, so that's simply the Caistrology handle. Okay, so also I'm available for private readings. So private astrology readings or tarot readings, I'll leave a link in the description box for you below, or you can head to Caistrology.com. So that's pretty much all I wanted to mention in the intro. If you are interested in tarot, actually, I've got my Tarot 2026 predictions, which is up on my YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's jump into Aries. Hi Aries, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 astrological forecast. So of course you can watch this video if you're an Aries rising sun or moon, and I do recommend that you watch for all three once they're available. Okay, so on the 3rd of January, we had the full moon in Cancer in your 4th house, and that was at 13 degrees. So because it is squaring you and occurring in the 4th house, this could indicate that there's some sort of epiphany or realization that you had as it pertains to your family, your home, your property, and your living situation. So this could even be to do with your parenting style and the dynamics within your family or household, or your relationship with your parents. Maybe you were discovering, or you have discovered, things about your ancestry or about your lineage. Maybe you are realizing that you want to buy or sell, relocate, or make some sort of significant change to your existing property and living situation. On a different note, the 4th house is very much about our childhood and our deep-seated emotions. Okay, so they could be coming up for you in a big way. Obviously the full moon was yesterday. I am filming this on the 4th of January, but just note that full moon energy and even new moon energy is basically with us 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after the actual event. So there could still be important conversations that you are having with family. Okay, or about your property and your living situation. So as I mentioned in the intro, the first pretty much 3 weeks of the month, we're in heavy Capricorn energy. So that means that your 10th house, which is the very top of your chart, is super activated. We've got Mercury, Venus, the Sun, and Mars here, and Mars is your chart ruler. Okay, so why it's important to be aware of this stellium in your 10th house is because we've also got a bunch of conjunctions that are happening in Capricorn. So between the 6th and the 9th of January, we've got Sun conjunct Venus in Capricorn, then Venus conjunct Mars, your chart ruler, and then the Sun conjunct Mars. And then later in the month, on the 18th, we've got Mercury and Mars forming a conjunction as well. So most of these conjunctions are kicking off approximately a 1-year new cycle. And ultimately, there's new beginnings that are happening that relate to your 10th house. So this is your career, your public reputation. This is to do with the legacy that you want to create and that you want to leave behind. The 10th house doesn't just relate to our career though. The 10th house, when it is so strongly activated, can also indicate changes when it comes to our almost like our public record. So any changes in property and real estate, anything to do with government or legal matters such as citizenship or permanent residency, or even changes to relationship status. These are also reflected in the 10th house. So don't be surprised if there's some sort of definitive change where on paper that would be reflected. So that's employment status, relationship status, property status, government status, and that kind of thing. So there could be a new job that you're taking on, a new industry that you are foraying into. And for some of you, maybe you are planning to take time off work. Maybe you want to have a year off work or 2 years off work. Maybe you're preparing for retirement. Maybe you're preparing to hand your company over to someone else. And it's like the decisions are being made in January, even if they're going to take several months or even 1 to 2 years to basically come into play. For others of you, maybe you're buying, maybe you're going to be selling a property, investing, maybe you are going to get engaged or get married, or perhaps you're filing for divorce. You know, there are these like big ticket life events or changes in your life that are reflected in the 10th house. So interestingly, all these planets, so Sun, Venus, Mars, and then Mercury, one by one, they're all going to oppose Jupiter in Cancer shortly after. So to me, the biggest shifts seem to be coming through for you between about the 6th till the 11th or the 12th of January. So important life decisions could be made during this period of time. And the opposition to Jupiter is almost like, okay, now there's a big challenge that's involved, or I have to announce this to someone, or it's almost like once you decide to do this thing, you're immediately springing into action, or someone is asking you to maybe put your money where your mouth is, or to prove it, or put it in writing. Okay, so that's another way that could be playing out. So on the 18th or the 19th of January, depending where you live in the world, we're going to have the new moon in Capricorn occurring. So I've just popped that up on the screen. As you can see, the new moon's at 28 degrees. Now, it does coincide with the Mercury-Mars conjunction. So 28 degrees is sort of like a hot spot that's being activated, and so is 26 degrees, but also there's only positive aspects here in this new moon. As you can see, there's a sextile to Saturn and Neptune, and then there's a trine to Uranus. So basically your 10th house, your 12th house, and your second houses are all being heavily activated. So a new moon in the 10th house just is doubling down on that new chapter that is occurring in your 10th house. So again, this could be reflected in career, relationships, property matters, or even becoming a parent. That's another way that could be playing out, whether that is you becoming a parent for the first time, or deciding you want to expand your family further, maybe adopting a child, maybe fostering a child, or perhaps you're, let's say, officially stepping into the role of step parent, just as an example. Alrighty, so moving along, Aries, on you're the first sign, so you're the first pancake. The other thing I wanted to mention was the Saturn-Uranus sextile that is occurring. So it's not too long after the new moon. By the way, when we have a planet that makes two sextiles and those two planets make a trine, this is sometimes referred to as a small talent triangle or a small grand trine. So you can see that your chart ruler, which is Mars, is being involved here heavily, as is Mercury and Neptune. So to me, this indicates that there's an opportunity for you to explore a new talent, to explore a gift, for you to go further with perhaps your chosen career or the industry that you are currently involved in or working in. And I say that because Saturn is the ruler of your 10th house and it's a career planet. On a different note though, because it's in the 12th house, maybe this is indicating that you are going to be pursuing something that's more of a spiritual nature, or maybe there'll be an opportunity for you to work abroad or host a spiritual retreat or attend a spiritual retreat. And the 12th house is also highly creative in nature, so maybe you'll be getting involved in something to do with music, poetry, filmography, photography, acting, etc., etc. Okay, Aries, so between the 20th and the 23rd of January, we're going to see the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all enter the sign of Aquarius. So as of the 23rd, we officially have 5 planets in the sign of Aquarius, because of course we've got Pluto here and Venus here too. So at first we talked about these conjunctions that are happening in the sign of Capricorn, but then we're actually going to have let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 conjunctions that are taking place basically between the 20th and the 29th of January. So we've got Venus conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, and Mercury conjunct Venus. Okay, that's a mouthful. You don't need to remember it all, but just wanted to mention it for posterity. So that means that your 11th house is lit right up. We have 6 conjunctions here, and then next month in February we have a new moon solar eclipse here. So this means that without a shadow of a doubt, there are new beginnings as it pertains to your 11th house. Your long-term goals and dreams, your community that you are a part of, your wider network, investors, people investing in your ideas or in your business. The 11th house is also associated with passive and residual forms of income. So there may be some kind of initiative here for you to generate a new stream of income or a new passive form of income. Big changes could be coming through when it relates to your online social media presence. Okay, so maybe you have an online business or an online profile, then it looks like there could be some big changes that are coming through. The 11th house is also related to things like subscriptions and memberships. So maybe you are subscribing to some new group or community, or you are developing something that is like a membership program or something that other people can subscribe to. The 11th house also relates to rewards, awards, and accolades, plus PhDs. So maybe you're starting a new PhD. Maybe there's a prestigious award that you are looking at entering, and so you've got a good chance at winning such an award. Basically, to me, this looks like over the next 1 to 2 years, you are going to be initiating new things or setting new goals that are going to lead to the expansion of your social network, of your community, new goals that you're setting that are personal in nature and that maybe relate to your finances. Also, it can be socioeconomic goals. So maybe this is to do with humanitarianism. The 11th house also relates to project management. So let's say complicated, interconnected systems. So there could be a new project that you are initiating or that you're wanting to work on. So I repeat, that would therefore be coming through more so in the last 7 to 10 days of the month, because that's when we've got this massive stellium of planets in Aquarius, and that's when we're having all of these conjunctions take place. So lastly, Aries, Neptune is going to enter the sign of Aries in your first house, and that will be taking place on the 26th or the 27th of January, depending where you live in the world. So I've actually already put together a pretty massive Neptune in Aries video, so I am going to pin that link in the comment section below and in the description box below after this video airs. So it will of course be available for replay, but just in a nutshell, we already experienced Neptune going into Aries for a few months in 2025. So just cast your mind back to what was happening for me between basically April and early January. Did I start anything new? Were there new relationships, new like intuitive gifts that were perhaps coming online, or getting involved with charities, or like I said, something spiritual in nature or even creative in nature? So that could basically give you a bit of a clue as to what the next 13, 14 years will usher in with this Neptune in Aries transit. So Aries, that's all I have for you for your January horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And like I said in my intro, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook too. Okay, let's now move on to Taurus. Hi, fellow Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 forecast. I'm a Taurus Sun myself, so I do have a soft spot for the Taurus horoscopes, I will admit. So Taurus, we are starting off the month with a heavy Capricorn stellium, but this is positive for us Taurians, and that's because all of these planets, these 4 planets that we have in the 9th house, are all trining us as Taurians. So we've got Mercury, Venus, your chart ruler, Mars, and the Sun here in the 9th house. So you're going to find that January is going to have 2 very distinct energies. And these are broken up into the first 3-ish weeks of January, and then the last basically 10 days, 7 to 10 days. So the first part, the first 3 weeks, it's basically Capricorn dominant, which is going to be easier for us Taurians to handle. And then the 7 to 10 days at the end of the month, everything shifts to Aquarius, which is the top of the chart, which is going to start squaring us, which means that the pressure is more so going to be on at the end of the month. Okay, so on the 3rd of January, which was yesterday, please forgive me for doing this horoscope late, we had a full moon in Cancer. So that was at 13 degrees. It was in your 3rd house. This was less than 24 hours ago. So the reason I'm still mentioning it is because this full moon energy can still be with you another 1 to 2 weeks, right? Up until the new moon in Capricorn. So it's definitely worth a mention, right? So the full moon in the 3rd house was in a close opposition to Venus and Mars. Mercury's here too, but fortunately it was also conjunct Jupiter. So long story short, there could have been some kind of breakthrough when it comes to your relationship with your friends, with co-workers, clients, siblings. Maybe you release or will be releasing some kind of content creation or writing piece that can be received really well. So maybe it could lead to a lot more client engagement, or there could be like flow on work that comes as a result of, whatever it is that you've finished in the way of a project. For others of you, you could be completing an education course, receiving some kind of certificate or diploma, or maybe you were just completing a bunch of classes. And for others of you, maybe this is like the release of a website or an app as an example. Okay, so anything to do with social media and technology, that's where we're finding that in the 3rd house. Some of you may be buying a car, selling a car. I would say be careful on the roads, just because that full moon is opposing Mars, plus Mercury too, and then Jupiter can sort of blow things out of proportion. So just be mindful on the roads, be mindful in your communications that you have in general, because that Jupiterian influence could kind of be exposing, let's say, private conversations, and that could be getting into the wrong hands. Okay, so it's kind of a niche interpretation, but just as an example, maybe you're sending a text to the wrong person, or hitting reply all, or something of that nature. Okay, so like I said, that was the full moon in Cancer, which was actually conjunct the fixed star Sirius, which is the brightest star in the night sky. It's associated with renewal, fertility, and abundance. At least, the ancient Egyptians associated it with as much. Okay, so to me, there's something positive that is coming through as a result of this full moon. For me personally, my Venus is exactly at 13 degrees Cancer, and I've got a Venus-Uranus opposition. So, maybe this video will do well. Don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. In any case, Taurus, just moving along. So that was the full moon in Cancer. Like I said, we've got this Capricorn stellium in your 9th house, and we're going to have 4 conjunctions in Capricorn in your 9th house. We've got the Sun conjunct Venus around the 6th or the 7th of January. Then we've got Venus conjunct Mars on the 8th of January. Then the Sun conjunct Mars on the 9th of January. And later in the month, on the 18th, we'll have Mercury conjunct Mars. So Taurus, this means that we've got 4 new cycles that are starting, 4 new beginnings, right? And so what we want to do is understand, well, what does the 9th house relate to? Okay, so depending on your personal chart, it's going to play out differently. But in a nutshell, the 9th house is travel. In my observation and experience, that means travel by plane. So even if that's interstate, right? Travel by plane, like long journeys. So that can be interstate or overseas. The 9th house also relates to things like visas. So maybe it's to do with permanent residency, maybe it's to do with citizenship, maybe it's to do with obtaining a visa to travel to another country. The 9th house also rules over education. Okay, so maybe this is you enrolling in a new university program, college degree. I will say that the 9th house is more to do with higher level study. I'm inclined to say tertiary education, or it could be some sort of like spiritual or esoteric teachings, whereas something like a 3-week course or a 2-month course, that's more 3rd house activity. So there could be some sort of new chapter that is starting for you that, like I said, relates to higher education. Now, it could be that you are the one who is going to be studying, or maybe you are stepping into the role of teacher. So just note that with these new cycles that are starting, they're mostly about 1 year long, okay, give or take. So it doesn't mean that all of these things are happening in January. It could just be like the seed of an idea, the kernel for a new idea, and then you're looking at pursuing that further, right? So maybe this is you making plans to become a teacher or to teach, just as an example, okay? So something to note is that all of these planets are systematically, one by one, going to start opposing Jupiter in Cancer. So it's like we've got Sun conjunct Venus, and then Sun opposite Jupiter, Venus opposite Jupiter, Mars opposite Jupiter, okay? So to me, what that reflects is the new chapter comes through, the seeds are planted, you have this idea, maybe you're like, yeah, I'm gonna commit to this, even if you just like verbalize it. And the opposition to Jupiter is just like the universe going, okay, here's your opportunity. You said that you wanted to enroll. Here's the course. Like, put your deposit down. You said you wanted to travel to this place. Look, these airfares are on sale. And so therefore you should invest, right? So I don't know. I just find it funny because I've experienced this for myself where I'll make a plan to do something and I'll be very clear on that. And because I'm a slow moving Taurus, like you guys, for the most part, I'll be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, but I'm going to work at it for like 6 months or 12 months. And so I have this like long protracted time period for how long I think until I'll actually be ready. And then the universe is like, no, but you just decided, and that means you've aligned to a higher frequency, and therefore here's the opportunity, and now you have to do it tomorrow. I don't know. You guys can let me know if you've had the same experience as me. And also, hello everyone in the chat who's watching live. Thank you for your support. It's always nice to not be alone in here. Not that I announced that I was doing this live stream. It was sort of spontaneous. So anyway, where were we? We've talked about the conjunctions in Capricorn. I'm not mentioning it to all the signs, but just for your awareness, Venus, which is your chart ruler, is going to enter into the sign of Aquarius, and that will be on the 17th of the month. So you may just experience a big shift around that time. Or at least in your direction and your focus. So then what we've got is a new moon in Capricorn. That will be on the 18th or the 19th, depending where you live in the world. I've just put the chart up on the screen for you there. So as you can see, this new moon is at 28 degrees, but it also coincides with the Mercury-Mars conjunction at 26 degrees. And you know what those blue lines mean, people? That means that this new moon is positively aspected. Like there's no hard aspects. What I would describe as a hard aspect is, you know, the Mercury-Mars conjunction. Oh, it looks like the video is freezing a bit. Hang on. Let me just wait for it to jump back up. This is why I sort of avoid doing live streams, by the way. But anyway, okay, as I was saying, we've got Mercury and Mars, which are conjunct, and that can put a lot of pressure on us in terms of overthinking things, over curating ideas, but ultimately it's a well aspected new moon. So new moon in the 9th house can lead to new travel plans, new education opportunities, new teaching opportunities, put in touch or connecting with a new teacher, guru, advisor, counselor. The 9th house is also related to our vision for our future. Plus the 9th house is legal matters as well. And that's something that I omitted mentioning unintentionally. Okay, so these conjunctions in the 9th house, which take place earlier in the month, plus the new moon in the 9th house, could indicate that there is a new legal situation that is coming online that you are having to attend to. But just know that covers the whole gamut of legal matters, right? Like even getting married is a legal affair, isn't it? Okay, because it involves like formal documentation, etc. So do you know what? Your 9th house being super activated and also being a house that relates to religious ceremonies plus marriage could indicate that you're maybe getting married, maybe you're getting engaged, maybe there's some sort of religious initiation that is taking place for you. For others of you, there could be like a new moral dilemma that you are having to tease out and contend with. But ultimately, like I said before, the 9th house is your vision for your future. So this is like, okay, what are my big plans? If I could do anything, if I could, present in any way that I wanted, and if money wasn't an object, what would I be doing with my life and with my time? And this new moon is very auspicious, and it can actually help to guide you in that direction. Okay, so then what we have is the Saturn-Uranus sextile. So Saturn in Pisces in your 11th house, sextile Uranus in Taurus in your 1st house at 27 degrees. As you can see, it's also involving Mars here at 27 degrees. So in astrology, we call this a small talent triangle or a small grand trine. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm just getting an error saying YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Let me see if I can For those of you who are watching live, would you mind just letting me know what the streaming quality is like and if it's okay for you guys? And then I'll continue once I've heard from you. Yes, Cailin DeVilliers, I hope it works too. It's funny we've got the same name. Is the quality okay? Good. Okay, all right. I'm just going to roll with the punches and Please pray for me. Let's hope for the best. Okay. Thank you, guys. So, as I was saying, we've got a small talent triangle, a small grand trine. So this represents an opportunity for you to really invest in your talents, invest in your gifts. And because Uranus is in the first house and Saturn is in the 11th house, to me, this indicates expanding your wider network, really pursuing a long-term goal of yours. Maybe this is to do with orienting your career decisions down a path that is going to expand your wider network or really benefit a large group of people. And to me, the sextile to Uranus represents the removal of a blockage, the removal of an obstacle. But the nature of these sextiles that are occurring here show that you need to take initiative, or you need to accept someone's offer or an opportunity that comes your way, because sextiles need to basically be activated or acted upon is actually what I mean to say. Okay, so Taurus, between the 20th and the 23rd of January, we're going to have the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all moving into the sign of Aquarius. So basically, by the 23rd of January, we'll have 5 planets there: the Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Pluto. And amazingly, between the 20th and the 29th of January, we've got 6 new cycles that are starting. So these are 6 new conjunctions. So between Venus and Pluto, the Sun and Mercury, Mercury and Pluto, the Sun and Pluto, Mars and Pluto, and then Mercury and Venus basically right at the end of the month. So most of these conjunctions are between 1 and 3 degrees, but that last one is 26 degrees. So long story short, all of this Aquarius activity is actually taking place right at the top of your chart. So it's essentially your 10th house, it's your midheaven, and the 10th house is one of the 4 angular houses in astrology. And when it is activated, we usually experience some sort of change, shift, or development as it relates to our status. And when I say status, I mean what can be definitively like said or put on paper. So a person is either employed or unemployed. You're either married, not married, or divorced. You either own your property or you don't own your property, right? So it's like these activations to your 10th house can trigger movement in one or more of those areas. So some of you may be getting a new job, or you could be attaining a promotion. Maybe you're becoming self-employed. Maybe you're merging companies with another person. Maybe your employer is merging with another person, and there's like a whole restructuring thing that's happening at your work. Maybe there are new sets of priorities or responsibilities in a professional sense that you're going to have to attend to. Obviously, not everyone is working. Okay, so work to the side. This could be applying for some kind of government approval. So that could be for the pension, that could be for a disability, for some sort of concession. On a different note, this could be to do with your relationship status, like I said. So maybe some of you are getting married, maybe some of you are formalizing your relationship or the end of a relationship. Others of you could be expanding your family. So maybe you are becoming a parent. Maybe you are adopting or fostering or becoming a step parent. So the 10th house is like your highest level responsibilities, plus it's the legacy that you want to create and that you want to leave behind. So maybe you are going to be realizing or actualizing something that you're wanting to achieve in this lifetime. And for others of you, maybe you're becoming like a chairperson of a non-for-profit. Like I said, this doesn't need to relate to career. But I will say that for Taurus, and it's getting very hot in here, I'm in Far North Queensland. For Taurus, there is a lot of pressure on us in the last 7 to 10 days of the month. Why? It's because these 5 planets are all squaring you. In fact, these 5 planets will all be in Aquarius in your 10th house until the 7th of February. So I want you to keep in mind the 23rd of January till the 7th of February. That's where all these new beginnings can be starting, these new opportunities. Maybe it's to collaborate. Maybe you are just deciding what you want to do with your life path. What direction do I want to move in? And because Mars is the ruler of your 7th house, which represents relationships, this could be like, what are my significant other and I wanting to do with our lives? Maybe you're starting a business together. Maybe you're making plans together for the future. Okay, so if you are in a relationship. So lastly, Taurus, on the 6th or 27th of January, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to re-enter the sign of Aries. So it's spent about 8 months there in 2025. I've actually done a whole video on this. It's already up on my channel, so you can go and binge watch more Caistrology content if you're wanting to see how Neptune in Aries is going to impact you. But essentially, a good indicator for what is this new 13-14 year transit looking like for me? You can cast your mind back to what occurred between basically April and early November in 2025, and that'll give you a really good idea of what to expect. Okay, Taurus, that's all from me. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share this content around if you think other people will like this video, and of course hit the subscribe button. I've got more astrological content on my Instagram and my Facebook. That's tarot, that's astrology, so feel free to search me up. I'm Caistrology if you're interested. Thanks, Taurus. Now let's move into Gemini. Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 forecast. So, I'm a Gemini rising too. I mention that every single time, but if you're new here, now you know. Okay, Gemini, so we had a full moon in Cancer in your 2nd house, and that was yesterday on the 3rd of January. So I'll show you by putting that chart up on the screen. So the full moon in your 2nd house could have brought through some kind of significant shift in your financial situation. So maybe you had to invest a large sum of money either 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon. So basically from, late December, or perhaps there'll be some big expenses coming through in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And I say that because Jupiter is conjunct the full moon and it expands what it touches. But also this could see you receiving help and assistance financially through other people. And I say that because Jupiter rules over your 7th house, which represents, your close one-to-one personal relationships. So the 2nd house also represents food. So maybe some of you are realizing during this time that you're going to have to eliminate certain things from your diet or cut them out. Maybe you do have to be mindful of allergic reactions in the next 1 to 2 weeks. I do have to put that out there. But on a different note, the 2nd house also rules over things like beauty treatments, like what we do to indulge, what we do to relax, what we do to nourish and nurture ourselves. And Cancer represents that too. So there may be some luxury things that you are investing in, or some indulgences that you are allowing yourself, basically. So moving along, Gemini, let me just get that off the screen. Between the 1st and the 20th of January, we're going to have 4 conjunctions taking place that also involve your chart ruler, which is Mercury. So I would say essentially for the first 3 weeks of the month, there's this dense, heavy Capricorn energy, and that will be harder for you than the end of the month. So that comment is going to flip-flop back and forth depending on each person's sign. Basically, in the last 7 to 10 days of the month, we'll have an Aquarius stellium, which means all these planets will be trining you from the 9th house. So categorically speaking, I can say that the first 3 weeks are harder, quote unquote, for you than the last sort of 7 to 10 days of the month. But let's unpack it. So we've got 4 conjunctions happening in your 8th house of mutual resources. We've got the Sun and Venus. We've got Venus and Mars, and then the Sun and Mars, and that's all between about the 6th and the 9th of January. So we're heading into, I would say, our most challenging week next week. So that would be, I want to say even the 6th till the 12th, because all of these planets are going to start opposing Jupiter. But ultimately, it's important for you to know what the 8th house rules over. So the 8th house is all about mutual resources. It's the ways in which we support other people financially or materially, or even with emotional support, and then how we receive that as well. The 8th house also represents like sudden shocking changes of events that are completely unpredictable. So having a lot of conjunctions occurring in your 8th house, and also my 8th house as well, indicates to me that really between the 6th and the 12th of January, there are going to be some things that you can't really predict, like situations that suddenly turn on their head. And by the way, that doesn't need to be quote unquote negative. It can even be like an unexpected opportunity for you to act on. Maybe it's a crisis that doesn't involve you, but you can benefit from it somehow. Or it's like you just need to be extremely adaptable to external situations, even if they have nothing to do with you. So like I said, this involves the Sun, Venus, Mars, as well as Mercury, and all these planets are going to start opposing Jupiter, like one after the other. So to me, this can also come through as stuff to do with your taxes, stuff to do with child support, alimony money, child custody, insurance as well. So maybe there's like an insurance claim that you need to file, or an insurance, or maybe you're changing insurers. The 8th house also relates to inheritances and wills. So you could actually be receiving inheritance money, you could be receiving money from a will, or maybe you are drawing these up, okay? Because the conjunctions indicate new cycles that are starting, new chapters that are starting. So it wouldn't surprise me if you are organizing your mutual resources differently, if you're forming a new agreement when it comes to alimony money, child support, child custody, etc. But also the 8th house is like an initiation into the occult and into esoteric practices, and it also represents like deep healing plus sex and intimacy. So maybe there's like a big change that's coming through in your sex life, or even in terms of your sexuality, even if it's not really pertaining to other people. It's just like you becoming more aware of your preferences or exploring certain things that you haven't explored before. All right, so these are just some examples. The 8th house also relates to our fears and things that we are very much resistant to letting go of. It is also a house that very much relates to conception, because it is death and it is rebirth. So this is actually a really fertile time for you if you're wanting to get pregnant, if you're wanting to enhance your fertility somehow, or get tested in terms of your fertility. Then maybe that'll be coming through in the next, well, let's say within the first 3 weeks of January. Okay, so on the 18th or the 19th of January, depending where you live in the world, there will be wait for it, there you go on the screen, a new moon in Capricorn at 28 degrees. So interestingly, fortunately, this new moon is only making positive aspects, thank God. So you can see that there's a nice big trine. So that's 4 planets in Capricorn through to Uranus in Taurus, plus all those planets in Capricorn are also sextiling, beg your pardon, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces too. Okay, so new moon, new me, right? New beginning, new chapter. And this is just really amplifying everything that I said previously about the conjunctions that are occurring in your 8th house. So new ways of arranging your mutual finances and resources, stuff to do with wills, taxes, death, fertility, rebirth, and even just transformation as well. So to me, this actually looks like a period where you're getting really organized as it relates to mutual resources. P.S. That doesn't just need to be with, let's say, your significant other or your husband or your wife. That can also be money that you make through other people or with other people. Okay, so maybe there's an increase in wealth and abundance that is coming through. Your 8th house also represents your significant other's personal resources. So maybe your significant other is basically forming a new way of making money, or maybe they are going to experience a notable increase in their existing finances and income. Okay, so then what we've got on the 20th is Saturn in Pisces in your 10th house, sextiling Uranus in Taurus in your 12th house. And as you can see here, it's also involving Mars at 27 degrees. So we call this a small talent triangle or small grand trine. And when we have this occur, it represents an opportunity that needs to be acted upon as shown by the sextiles. So it's like maybe someone offers you a job opportunity, more responsibility in the workplace. Maybe you notice a gap in the market, or there's an avenue for you to approach someone in a position of authority who's much higher up in terms of the hierarchy. It doesn't even need to be at work. You know, Saturn in your 10th house could be like a government official. It's almost like you're going straight to the top and actually bypassing the middlemen in order to put your case forward or achieve a certain outcome that would somehow be beneficial to you. Maybe just circling back to the work side of things, you could be touted as an expert in your field, like an industry expert, or someone who's very much in the know. Do you know what, Gemini? To me, this looks like you having an opportunity to be very highly regarded and very highly respected for work that you are doing. All right, so that was Saturn in Pisces sextiling Uranus in Taurus, and also sextiling Mars in Capricorn. And just bear with me, Gemini. Okay, so between the 20th and the 23rd of January, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars are all going to enter the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so basically, as I said, I think at the beginning of your reading, we're now shifting into that other distinct energy for January. And trust me, this is a lot easier for you guys to deal with, especially if you have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising between 0 and about 5 or 6 degrees. And I say that because we've got 6 new conjunctions, which means 6 new cycles that are occurring in Aquarius in your 9th house, and they are almost all at like 1 degrees or 3 degrees, with the exception of Mercury conjunct Venus right at the end of the month at 26 degrees. I digress. So the 9th house is all about education and your belief systems, whether these are religious, whether these are political. The 9th house also rules over import and export, publishing, travel. I think I said travel, plus legal matters as well. So to have 5 planets here in the 9th house and 6 conjunctions as a result indicates to me that there are not just one, but there are several new chapters that that are taking place, several new beginnings, and these will have a lifespan of approximately, well, most of them about a year, and then we've also got a new 2-year cycle that's starting too. So just take note of what happens in those last 7 to 10 days of the month, because that could be giving you a bit of insight as to what is coming through in the next 1 to 2 years. In any case, I'll give you a few different ways that this can play out. So maybe you are enrolling in a higher education course or program. Maybe you are stepping into the role of teacher. Maybe you are planning a significant trip abroad. Maybe you are applying for permanent residency, citizenship, or some kind of visa in order for you to travel. Maybe it's like a working visa to another country. Yes, you could even be looking at relocating interstate or relocating abroad altogether. The 9th house is also associated with marriage, so maybe some of you are getting engaged, or you are getting married, or there could be some kind of important religious ceremony that is taking place. So for example, getting baptized, bar mitzvah, taking refuge in Buddhism. These are just the things that are at the top of my mind, or off the top of my head I should say. And for others of you, the 9th house could indicate that you are basically just connecting to your vision for your future and really understanding what you're wanting to aim for, what you're angling yourself towards. And the 9th house is very much your connection to a higher power. Also, it's your morals, it's your personal code of ethics. So I dare say there could be some kind of moral dilemma that you may experience in that last 7 to 10 days of the month, and it could sort of unfold over the course of several months or even a year or two. Can't imagine what that would be, but just throwing it out there. And then the 9th house, like I said, we've got import, export plus publishing. So maybe you're looking at helping someone to publish a book, or maybe you are wanting to get your work published somehow. Maybe you are learning a new language. That's another way that can play out. Or you are expanding your business in terms of import and export, or just getting involved with import and export for your work somehow. So again, those are just a few different ways that can play out. I do want to just reiterate to you that the 9th house is having it activated means all these planets are trining you. This is so beneficial. This is helpful. This is support. This is like, you don't have to work for it. Things are going to start falling into place for you. Are they all going to be easy? No, they're not all going to be easy, because we've got Mercury conjunct Pluto and Mars conjunct Pluto and whatever. So to me, this is like, how do I want to put it? It looks like some character building stuff is coming your way, and that starts at the end of January, or the last 7 to 10 days. Okay, so I mentioned it in the intro, but we've got eclipses happening in February and March. So from mid-January onwards, we are very much in that pre-eclipse window. So it's it's eclipse season energy. Wow, 3 signs in, already losing my words. So at the very end of the month, on the 26th or the 27th, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to enter the sign of Aries. So it's going to move into your 11th house. I've already done a video on this, which you can find on my Caistrology YouTube channel. Plus, I'm going to post a link in the description box below and in the comment section below. Okay, Gemini, thank you for watching your video. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook as well, if you're wanting to see more regular updates from me. Okay, now let's move on to Cancer. Hi Cancer, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 horoscope. So Cancer, happy full moon to you. We had the full moon in your sign, and that was only just less than 24 hours ago. So it's well worth a look, because full moon energy can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before or 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon's taken place. Just give me one moment. I need to put my timer on because I'm trying to be consistent with these horoscopes. Anyway, so the full moon occurred at 13 degrees. It was in a tight opposition to both Venus and Mars. As you can see, it was also conjunct Jupiter too. So I would call this full moon auspiciously aspected, especially because it was conjunct the fixed star Sirius, which is our spiritual sun. It's a very spiritual star. It's the brightest star in the night sky, actually. So you could have experienced profound insights, deep healing, sudden realizations that have come through. Maybe you've realized what you need to let go of, what you need to do to align to the path that you're meant to be on. For some of you, this could have this could have resulted in the end of certain collaborations or even connections with other people. But in any case, like I said, it was a positively aspected full moon. But don't be surprised if emotions are still running high for you, if the realizations keep rolling in. Maybe there could have been some tense conversations that you had or are having in this time period around the full moon. So again, 1 to 2 weeks before or 1 to 2 weeks after, because it is opposing Mercury, Venus, and Mars, which is the sign that's opposite you. So therefore in your 7th house, there could have been uncomfortable conversations that you've needed to have, or perhaps you've received like notices or correspondences which were rather surprising to you in one way or another. Okay, Cancer. So let's just carry on. Between the 1st and the 20th of January, we've got a stellium of planets in Capricorn in your 7th house. So to me, that indicates that the first 3 weeks of the month, it's really all about your one-to-one personal relationships. So you and your husband or your wife or your significant other, your connection with your clients, with your best friend, with someone who you maybe receive tutoring from, or who's a coach to you in some way. The 7th house also relates to contracts as well. So to me, it appears that for those of you who are in a relationship, you're like heavily supporting your partner at present, or perhaps you're just having to make important decisions together, and it's like, we need to work out how to be on the same page, we need to work out how to be as one together on the same team. To me, it looks like there's a lot happening in the life of your significant other, just because your 7th house is like their 1st house. Okay, so maybe they're under a lot of pressure. Obviously, not everyone is in a relationship, so just ignore this part if that doesn't relate to you. For others of you, maybe your clients are asking a lot of you. Maybe there are a lot of contracts that you have to fulfill, or even just obligations to other people, and it's like, oh my god, I need to help this person, and I need to answer this person, and I need to call this person back, so the 7th house is like a really social house, astrologically speaking, and that's why there's this heavy like relational aspect to the first 3 weeks of the month. All right, so pretty much between the 6th and the 9th, we've got 3 conjunctions happening in Capricorn in your 7th house, and then a 4th one on the 18th. So we've got the Sun conjunct Venus, we've got Venus conjunct Mars, then we've got Sun conjunct Mars. So again, that's all between around the 6th to the 9th of January. And then each of those planets are going to start opposing Jupiter in Cancer one by one by one. What I'm saying to you, Cancer, is that between the 6th and the 12th of January, this is the time where you will be at your busiest. This is the time where you will have the most people calling you, emailing you, contacting you. This is the time where you may be signing important contracts. Of course, it can happen later, but maybe there's just a lot of information that you need to like churn through and digest and process. Okay, so on the 18th or the 19th of January, depending where you live in the world, there'll be a new moon in Capricorn at 28 degrees in your 7th house. So I've just put that up on the screen. So as you can see, Mercury and Mars are also conjunct here at 26 degrees. So that is having quite the impact on the new moon. And the new moon is super, super well aspected. That's amazing, guys. Like, we've got 4 planets all trining Uranus in Taurus, all sextiling Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And, you know, these are all... to me, the influence of Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune is very beneficial because it's helping you out with this new moon. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're offered a new contract. Maybe that is in terms of employment. Maybe that is you engaging the services of another person. So, for example, hiring a tutor, hiring a business coach, you know, even getting like a language tutor or a music teacher. Okay, so on a different note, maybe you're signing contracts that relate to family matters because it is at 28 degrees, or maybe you're presented with such things, and it's 333 right now, just as I've said that. So that can be for a new property, a new lease, an investment property. Maybe this is to do with child custody arrangements, alimony money, or a bit of a niche one, but maybe this is you having to make important decisions on the behalf of elderly parents or grandparents, or maybe family members where you are their medical power of attorney or even their legal power of attorney. So, you know, I say that because of this influence of Cancer here, Jupiter in Cancer, and of course the 28th degree, which is Cancer energy again. All right, so then on the 20th of January, we have Saturn in Pisces in your 9th house, sextiling Uranus in Taurus in your 11th house at 27 degrees. So as you can see, Mars is also here at 27 degrees. And what this means is that we've got a small grand trine forming, or a small talent triangle forming. Those are the astrological terms for it. And it's quite an auspicious astrological configuration. It's quite uncommon. And ultimately, this is presenting you with an opportunity to explore your horizons as it relates to your belief systems, as it relates to anything to do with travel, education, import, export, publishing, or even like the legal industry. Maybe you're considering exploring a career in some kind of legal capacity. Okay, so the 9th house relates to your belief systems. So maybe this is to do with being taken under someone's wing. Maybe this is within a political party, or within a religious group or a spiritual group, or it could be the opportunity for you to step up into that role as some kind of respected figure or person who has authority over... Sorry, I just saw like a giant toad outside my window. Maybe you're going to want to look up the spiritual symbology of cane toads. Anyway, maybe that's my sign to carry on with this reading for you, Cancer. Okay, so Cancer, between the 20th and the 23rd of January, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars are all going to enter the sign of Aquarius. So that means that from between the 23rd of January and the 7th of February, we're actually going to have 5 planets all in your 8th house. So it's hard to say which house or which stellium is putting more pressure on you, the 7th or the 8th. I want to say the 7th because it's not a hard aspect to you in the 8th, but you know, the 8th is, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but ultimately it is about mutual resources. So appears to me that in the last week or 10 days of the month, there's incredible potential for you to merge your mutual resources with another person, combine forces. So maybe that's with you and your significant other. Maybe that's going into business with another person. If you have like several different streams of income, then this could indicate an opportunity for you to charge more, earn more, or for maybe even new streams of income to come online for you. So what we're having here, Cancer, is 6 conjunctions all taking place in your 8th house between the 20th and the 29th of January. Venus conjunct Mars, Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, Mercury conjunct Venus. I think I missed one. There's definitely 6. Anyway, so the 8th house relates to things like inheritances, wills, our mutual resources as it relates to anything that we share with another person. That can be child support money, alimony money, custody. It could even be someone who just sends you money like every month. So for example, maybe your children or your grandchildren are helping to support you to pay off your mortgage, or they're just helping you because you need it. So again, these are 6 new cycles that are starting. So it's not about whether these are already happening. This is like what's coming through in the next 1 to 2 years, what seeds are being planted in January. Okay, so maybe you're looking at drawing up a will. Maybe you're looking at entering into business with another person. Maybe you are looking at purchasing a new investment. Okay, the 8th house also relates to deep healing, right? So it's like our fears, our insecurities. So you could be working with a psychologist, with a hypnotherapist, with an astrologer, with a tarot reader. The 8th house is also one of those like initiation houses. So maybe you are being initiated into some kind of divinatory practice, just as an example. And what else was I going to mention with the 8th house? The 8th house also relates to transformation and sudden like turns of events that are quite unexpected. So I would say that there's probably going to be things that you don't expect that happen in the last 7 to 10 days of the month, and these could involve conversations that you have with other people, finances, so money that you're needing to invest, money that you're needing to pay up or pay back, or spend, or the receiving of certain finances and resources. This could be changes to the money that you charge your tenants. This could be changes to the money that you have to pay if you are renting, or like maybe you're renting with other people, right? So the reason I say that is because Venus is involved in these conjunctions, and Venus rules over your 4th house. So could even be changes to things like body corporate fees, or owner's corporation, depending on like what it's called wherever you are. All right, so the name of the game here is that in the last 7 to 10 days of the month, your financial situation is changing. I can guarantee it. Whether that is money coming in, money going out, or it's your significant other's financial situation. So maybe they are experiencing an increase in their finances or resources. Maybe they have some big expenses that they need to make or need to pay, or maybe they are receiving like a lump sum of money or help from someone else, and then that in turn impacts you in some way. Okay, Cancer. So lastly for the month, on the 26th or the 27th of January, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to leave Pisces in your 9th house, and it's going to enter Aries in your 10th house. I already did a video on this already, so you can go and check out my Neptune in Aries video on my YouTube channel. And I've done, I think, 7 to 10 minutes worth of predictions for each of the 12 signs. So you can check out yours for your rising sun or moon. Cancer, if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also share this video with anyone that you think might enjoy it. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook if you're just wanting some more regular astrological updates from me, or even tarot updates from me. I posted a lot of tarot content on there too. Okay, Cancer, take care. Big blessings to you. Enjoy your full moon, and I will see you guys next month. Let's move on to Leo now. Hi Leo, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 horoscope. So Leo, we had a full moon in Cancer that was less than 24 hours ago, and the full moon energy can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before and even 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon. So I'll just pop it up on the screen for you. That's the full moon there. This one occurred in your 12th house, so probably it was more of it's more felt on a psychological level or just in terms of a spiritual level, because the 12th house is not super tangible. In saying that, the full moon in the 12th house could have indicated that you had to maybe make a big investment or pay a lot of money for something or to someone. Maybe you donated some of your money to charity or some of your belongings or possessions. This could have resulted in the completion of a creative project. That's another way that that could play out. So maybe that was to do with writing, music, poetry, film, photography, etc. The 12th house does rule over things like our subconscious and self-sabotaging behaviors. So maybe there was some sort of illumination or realization about said self-sabotaging behaviors that have somehow been brought to your awareness so that you're able to work on these. Okay, so let's leave that for now, especially as the full moon has already passed. So Leo, for the first 3 weeks of the month, we have a Capricorn of planets, a stellium of planets in Capricorn. We've got 4 planets transiting your 6th house: Sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. So when we have such a strong activation to one of our 12 houses in astrology, that means that becomes our focus. So without a shadow of a doubt, the first basically 3 weeks of January, you're laser focused on 6th house things and themes, such as your daily health and exercise regimen and routines, or it could be to do with the work that you're doing. So the daily tasks that you have to do for work, life admin tasks that you maybe need to attend to. Could have gone bananas with decluttering and cleaning, or maybe you will be doing so as we continue on, between now and about the 20th of January. The 6th house also rules over pets as well. So maybe you have been looking at getting a new pet, or maybe you've already got a pet and you're training that pet, or you're having to create enclosures, or there could have been some situations that have come up where you're needing to take them to a vet for a checkup, just as an example. Okay, so we've got 4 conjunctions occurring in Capricorn. We've got Sun plus Venus, Venus plus Mars, and the Sun, which is your chart ruler, conjunct Mars. Okay, so these are new 1 and 2 year cycles that are forming. So that's between about the 6th and the 9th of January. Then later in the month, on the 18th, we've also got Mercury conjunct Mars. So ultimately, these are new chapters, new cycles that are beginning. So this could look like you, like I said, getting a new pet, maybe taking out a new loan, maybe committing to a personal trainer, or in the daily work that you do, maybe there are new responsibilities that you're having to take on. So on the 18th or the 19th, depending where you live in the world, we'll have a new moon in Capricorn, and this will be occurring in your 6th house as well. So new moons, new moon, new me. right? It's a new chapter, it's a new beginning that is occurring, and this new moon is coinciding with the Mercury-Mars conjunction, and it's so well aspected too. So to me, this does look like there's a new job opportunity, and this would more so be like within your existing work that you're doing, I think, or at the very least in your existing industry. If you're already in the workforce, maybe this is you wanting to get fit, get healthy. This could be starting a new health treatment. It is crazy hot here. Anyway, so like I said, this new chapter is occurring in your 6th house, and so some of you may be wanting to get a new pet, adopt a new pet. Maybe you are needing to engage the services of a litigator as well. That could be another way that the 6th house is playing out for you. But ultimately, the 6th house is like all about decluttering, cleaning, getting healthy, focusing on yourself. And it's like our daily routines and habits. Okay, so I feel like I'm missing something else critical for the 6th house, but it's just eluding me. In any case, then on the 20th, just put that chart up on the screen, we have Saturn in Pisces in your 8th house, sextiling Uranus in Taurus in your 10th house. Also, we've got Mars being involved here in the sextile too, although it's not exact. In astrology, we call this either a small talent triangle or a small grand trine. So what this represents is an opportunity for you to dig deeper, go further, learn, expand your talents further. This can indicate that there are opportunities that are coming through for you to learn something new. Or it can be help through other people's resources where they're like, oh, you're interested in learning this thing. I've actually got like 50 books that I can lend to you on this topic. Because Saturn is in the 8th house, to me, this is indicative of mutual resources, wealth management, managing other people's resources, or it is to do with esoteric and occult practices. So maybe some sort of initiation that is taking place. Okay, to learn, to heal, to go deeper. This could be an opportunity for you to pursue psychology or hypnotherapy, or go deeper with your own astrological research. Okay, so because of the sextile to Uranus in your 10th house, to me, somehow this is alluding to the removal of an obstacle or a blockage. It's just like bypassing the red tape and being able to just skip certain steps. So maybe this is speaking to like the head figure of an organization or someone who has a lot of experience. So it's like you're dealing with the person at the top rather than, the middle people. Okay, so I'm just moving along, Leo. Between the 20th and the 23rd of the month, we're going to have the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all entering the sign of Aquarius. So that means that by the 23rd of January, we'll have 5 planets here in Aquarius. So we'll also have Venus and Pluto as well. So basically, you have 5 planets in your 7th house. And between the 20th of January and the end of the month, we've got 6 new cycles that are taking place. We've got Venus conjunct Pluto, the Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Pluto, the Sun conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, and then Mercury conjunct Venus. And of course, the Sun is your chart ruler as well. So the first 3 weeks of the month, it's all about the work that I'm doing, decluttering, cleaning, getting healthy, getting fit, like just attending to life admin tasks that I've been ignoring or avoiding or putting off. And then at the pretty much the last 7 to 10 days of the month, you're really shifting gears. It's going to be all about you and other people. Me and my significant other, me and my husband or my wife, me and my clients, me and my best friend. right? Or the 7th house relates to contracts as well. So to me, because the 7th house is a social house in astrology, the social houses being the 3rd, the 7th, and the 11th, it's going to be a really social time for you. Even if it's not like going to fancy parties. When I say social, I mean you're having to communicate a lot in the last 7 to 10 days of the month. I see there being lots of emails, lots of texts, lots of phone calls, lots of people that you need to get back to. If you work in, let's say, a customer service role or in like a one-to-one capacity, maybe professional services, or perhaps you are a tutor or someone who's like a personal trainer or even a solicitor, then this is really your time to shine. And this is the time where you need to be careful that you don't burn out, because there's just such a strong activation to your 7th house, more so than your 6th house with Capricorn. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if you're signing new contracts. This can be for an investment property, a lease, new tenants, maybe you're renting a new property, or this can be like you meet someone special, or you're proposing, or you're looking at getting married. On a different note, this could really be like the start of a new collaboration, going into business with another person, starting a business with someone else, or if you already own your own business, then maybe this is new services that you're offering. It's like, okay, I used to only offer these services and now I'm offering those services, or this could even be like an increase in the prices that you are charging. Right? So lastly, for the month on the 26th or the 27th of January, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to enter the sign of Aries. So it's going to be leaving your 8th house and moving into your 9th house. Now, first of all, I already have a video on this, so you can go and binge watch more Caistrology content. I've got a Neptune in Aries video where I've done predictions that are about 10 minutes per sign for all 12 signs. But I just wanted to mention that we've already experienced a bit of Neptune in Aries. So that was basically from April last year through till early November of 2025. We had about nearly 8 months of Neptune in Aries. So that'll give you a bit of an insight into what you can expect for the next 13, 14 years. So Leo, that's all I have for you for your January horoscope. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Enjoy your month ahead. Also, I am on Instagram and Facebook too, and I post very regularly there for both astrology and tarot. Thanks, Leo, and I'll see you guys in February. Let's move on to Virgo now. Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 astrological forecast. Happy New Year as well. I'm a Virgo moon myself, so I always really enjoy doing my Virgo horoscopes. So let's start off with having a brief look at the full moon in Cancer. Yes, this did occur yesterday. It was less than 24 hours ago, but full moon energy is with us 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon and 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon. So yes, it is still relevant. So the full moon took place at 13 degrees and it was in your 11th house. And it was tightly opposing Venus and Mars, and also in a wide conjunction with Jupiter in Cancer. So ultimately, the 11th house represents our long-term goals and dreams for the future, our community, our wider network, awards, accolades, and basically recognition for a job well done. So having the full moon in your 3rd house could have indicated there that there was some kind of praise or recognition that you have received or that you will be receiving for your work. On a different note, the 11th house also rules over your social media presence. Okay, so perhaps there is a big shift in how you're showing up online, or even in your I hate to use the term followers, supporters, that's the term I'm going to use. For others of you, there could have been a really definitive moment that occurred or that will occur with someone who's a friend of yours or someone in your wider network. So that could be like an offer of help, an offer of support. Worst case scenario could be having a bit of a fallout with someone or receiving negative feedback, just because it is opposite Mars and also, Mercury as well. But in any case, to me, the full moon in the 11th house is like illuminating your long-term goals and dreams. And it's like you're able to close out a specific chapter or close out a project that was important for you. So it comes through to me as you achieving some kind of milestone. Actually, I might just share my milestone with you that my boyfriend pointed out to me earlier today. My videos or my content on YouTube has been watched over 2 million times. So that was a big milestone for me as a Virgo moon, sharing that with my fellow Virgos. Virgos, let me know, are there any wins? Did you receive positive feedback or praise? Is there something that you're proud of that you've done or that you've completed that you'd like to share? Please let me know either in the chat or in the comment section below. Okay, Virgo, so let's just keep things moving, right? So January is going to feel like it is split into two different modes or two different energies. So what I mean by that is the first 3 weeks of the month, we've got a heavy stellium in Capricorn. We've got 4 planets here transiting your 5th house. Then one by one, by the 23rd of January, we'll have 5 planets in Aquarius in your 6th house. So the first 3 weeks and the last 7 to 10 days of the month, they're going to feel very, very different to you. Okay, so definitely things will be easier for you with the Capricorn energy, because the Sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury, it's all trining you from the 5th house. And the 5th house represents your it's a creative house, so it represents things like creativity, your love life, your romantic life, children, if you have children, or your relationship with children in your life, even if they're like nieces or nephews. And we've also got the 5th house ruling over owning your own business, and also fun, games, entertainment, hobbies, passions, etc. So we're going to have 4 conjunctions occurring in Capricorn in your 5th house. We've got Sun plus Venus, then we've got Venus plus Mars, and then Sun conjunct Mars, and that's all between the 6th and the 9th. And then later in the month, we've got Mercury conjunct Mars as well, around the time of the full moon, new moon. Okay, so that means we've got 4 new cycles that are occurring, and these are either 1 or 2 years, just depending on the conjunction. So just take note, Virgo, what is occurring for you this month? What are you starting? What seeds are you planting? This could be you wanting to get pregnant, this could be you wanting to expand your existing family further. It doesn't have to be through any particular way. This could be adopting, fostering. This could be you becoming a step parent, just as an example, or a godparent. On a different note, this could be you starting a business, maybe starting a business with another person, exploring new hobbies, exploring new passions and talents, discovering new talents as well, where it's just like, I'd never tried to sing a tune before, and now all of a sudden, I'm belting it out, right? So interestingly, after each conjunction, these planets are going to start opposing Jupiter in Cancer one by one by one. And I was having a little giggle before when I was interpreting this for some of the other signs, because to me, Jupiter, when we have a Jupiter opposition, it's just like, it just expands whatever that intention is. Oh, I just wanted to plant this little seed. I just wanted this to be a small hobby. I just wanted this to be like a side business or something small. And then Jupiter's like, boom, like we're going big, or we're going home. You wanted to start a business and do a soft launch. Well, too bad. Everyone knows about it now. Or, you know, just going off of the singing example, it could be like, you know, you're just singing for like a couple of friends at your house, and then someone overhears you, and then you've got this new opportunity, you know. So Jupiter can just kind of like expand things, and things can just sort of like snowball out of control. But in a positive way, I see this as growth opportunities. In fact, if I had to say what the energy of January is bringing through, it's like tremendous potential for growth, for expansion, for new adventures, for exploring your gifts, for exploring your talents. I couldn't even believe it when I looked at my my journal. This is my astrological planner. I'm just, you know, doing a bit of show and tell here. Let me show you the difference between how many transits there are for February versus January. So for February, like that's how many there are, right? January, look how small the print is. There was no way I could mention all the aspects. So January is just enormous in terms of the new cycles that are beginning. There's 10 new cycles. 4 are in Capricorn, and then 6 are in Aquarius. So that means that we better keep moving so that this doesn't go too long. So we've got a new moon in Capricorn. Like I said, it is on the 18th or the 19th of January, depending where you live in the world. It's in the 5th house, so I'm going to repeat myself here a bit. New moons are about planting the new seeds, new beginnings, new chapters. So it could be new relationship, new development in your love life, your romantic life, your sex life, starting a family, expanding your family further, starting a new business, exploring a new hobby, exploring a new passion. But Capricorn is like, okay, be serious about it. You know, this is why Virgos take the things that they find fun very seriously. It's because they have Capricorn on the 5th house cusp. So it's like you're doing this new thing, but you want to be organized and systematic and disciplined and structured, and just like build on those skills over time. Okay, so new moon in the 5th house could be you creating something new. This could be like creative writing. This could be starting a new sport. The 5th house also rules over sports. You know, these are just a few different examples for you, Virgo. Okay, so then on the 20th, we have Saturn in Pisces in your 7th house, sextile Uranus and Taurus in your 9th house, but Saturn is also going to sextile Mars and also Mercury in Capricorn in your 5th house. So we call this in astrology a small talent triangle, also known as a small grand trine. Okay, so basically this represents the opportunity for you to go further or go deeper with an opportunity that's being presented to you, and probably by another person, because Saturn is in your 7th house, which represents someone else. So it could be like, hey, do you want to collaborate? Do you want to go into business together? If it's your significant other, then it could be like, hey, what plans are we making together? How can we align ourselves? How can we get on the same page? And it's like maybe setting a new goal together that you're wanting to achieve. The fact that Saturn is here tells me that you're serious about it, you're dedicated to it. It involves some kind of physical commitment, or perhaps it's this idea that it's going to take a lot of work, or it's going to take a lot of time, and we need to really lay those foundations. Okay, so this could even be working with a coach, working with someone in a one-to-one capacity. It could be a business coach, it could be learning a new language, it could be like learning a musical instrument, just as an example. So then Virgo, between the 20th and the 23rd of January, the Sun, Mercury, which is your chart ruler, and Mars are all going to enter the sign of Aquarius, which means that they're leaving your 5th house and moving into your 6th house. So between the 23rd of January and the 7th of February, we'll have 5 planets in your 6th house. We'll have Venus, Pluto, Mercury, Mars, the Sun. Yeah, that's 5. Okay, so the 6th house is all about cleaning, right? So I didn't mean to say it as though that's the only thing it is. Work, cleaning, pets, admin tasks. I got distracted because I read a comment. Thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying the production. Not very Virgo of me to get distracted, but this is what your new area of focus will be on. I'm cleaning, I'm decluttering, I'm getting organized, I'm being systematic with things, I'm attending to life admin tasks, I'm attending to health matters, I'm attempting new health treatments or a new healthier way of being and living and doing. And also the 6th house is like the daily work that you're doing. How can you be of service? These are your routines. This is our bread and butter, Virgo. I have this theory as an astrologer that the house that our sign is associated with is easier for us to deal with. So for example, I've met with Pisces clients who have been in like a 12th house perfection year, or they've had such heavy stuff going through the 12th house, and I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? Like what's happened to you? And they're like, yeah, I'm great. And that's because Pisces is associated with the 12th house in the same way that Virgo is associated with the 6th house. So us having 6 conjunctions here in our 6th house is just aligning us and attuning us to our natural Virgoan energy. So let me tell you what we've got going on, and I don't expect you to remember it all. We have Venus conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, then Mercury conjunct Venus. So if you were counting like good little Virgos, we have three of those conjunctions involving Mercury, which is our chart ruler. So most of these were 3 degrees, if not 1 degree, and then the last one is at 26 degrees. In any case, these are in conjunctions. This is not like a direct aspect to you, but I just wouldn't be surprised if you are basically starting a new health routine, starting a new exercise routine, getting a new pet, or making preparations to get a new pet or new pets. Maybe you're wanting to really optimize your daily workflows, your automated emails. Maybe this is you utilizing AI or just AI tools in general to help with the work that you are doing. Also, it could be that you are wanting to basically start new daily work tasks in some capacity. But to me, it looks significant. Having 6 conjunctions in your 6th house is like nothing to sneeze at, right? So lastly, Virgo, on the 26th or the 27th of January, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to enter Aries in your 8th house. This is like a new, well, it's not super new because we had this transit last year. We saw the start of it, but basically it's a 14-year long transit and a new 165-year cycle. So no biggie. I've done a video on this already, so you can go and binge watch more Caistrology content. They're about 10 minutes long in terms of my predictions for each of the 12 signs. So that's my Neptune in Aries video that you can find on Caistrology. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, and I post very regularly there, both astrological content and tarot content. I'm available for private readings, which I think I forgot to mention until now. And you can head to caistrology.com for that. So that's all of my marketing and social media touting out of the way. If you enjoyed this video, it would really help me out if you could give the video a thumbs up. Please feel free to share this video around and subscribe to the channel as well if you're wanting to see more content here on my YouTube. Thanks, Virgo. I am going to take about a 10-minute break So it's intermission time, and then I'll be back with the last 6 signs, starting with Libra. So thank you for your patience. I know I've got some Libras waiting for their horoscope, so I'll try not to be too long. See you guys soon. Bye. Hi Libra Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 astrological forecast. So Libra, there's going to be a really different energy between the first 3 weeks, let's say 20 days of January, versus the last sort of 7 to 10 days. And I promise you, the easier part of the month is that latter point of 7 to 10 days. Meaning from about the 20th to the 23rd of January onwards. So the reason that I say that is because as it stands now on the 4th of January, which is when I'm filming this, we've got 4 planets in Capricorn. So that means we've got 4 planets transiting your 10th house, Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And we're going to experience not only a new moon here in your 10th house, but also 4 conjunctions between those various planets. Okay, so we've got the Sun conjunct Venus, then we've got Venus conjunct Mars. Obviously, Venus is your chart ruler. Plus, we've got Sun conjunct Mars, and that is all occurring between about the 6th and the 9th of January. And then all of those planets are going to start opposing Jupiter. Okay, so I would say the most intense time of January for you is between approximately the 6th till the 12th. All right, so just realized I forgot to mention the full moon. Let's just quickly mention that because that was yesterday. I won't spend too long on it because it has already passed, but just know that full moon energy can be with you 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after. So this full moon for you, Cancer, occurred in your 10th house. All right, so there could have been some kind of epiphany or realization that you had as it relates to the work that you want to do, the industry that you want to work in, or maybe it's more on the level of your public reputation. How do you want people to experience you? How do you want to be known? How do you want to be remembered? If you have children or grandchildren, then maybe this is like, how do I want them to remember me, right? So it could be about maybe putting your life experiences into a memoir or passing those on. Okay, on a different note, because the full moon activated your 10th house and your 4th house, you could have felt like there was some sort of interplay between your family life, what's going on at home or behind closed doors, and then public facing, like in terms of your work or having to let your work know about what's happening for you at home. So maybe you were asking for time off, or you could have just made stuff that's going on with your family or at home more public. So for example, maybe you've had a baby and you're announcing that baby. Maybe there are photos that are going up on social media, or maybe you're telling people that you're going to become a parent or a grandparent, or if you've moved in with someone, or if you are making changes to your property and your living situation, or even your relationship, then maybe there could be this element of I'm bringing that out into the public somehow or announcing it somehow. Okay, so where was I, Libra? I was talking about there being all of this astrological energy in Capricorn, and that is in your 4th house. I might have said 10th house at the beginning, but I meant your 4th house. So to have these 4 conjunctions plus a new moon here in your 4th house indicates to me that there are big mover and shaker things that are happening as it relates to your property situation, your living situation, the people that you share a house with, your tenants, your family, your dynamics with your parents or with your children, or grandparents or what have you. So conjunctions indicate a new chapter that is taking place, a new beginning that is taking place. And to have these 4 new conjunctions in your 4th house that are coming up over the next week or so indicates to me that there's like newness that is entering your life on one or more of those levels. And because the Sun, Mars, Venus, and eventually Mercury are all going to make oppositions to Jupiter and Cancer in your 10th house one by one, to me it's almost like as soon as you plant those seeds of those intentions, as soon as you decide that you want to pursue path A or path B, the opposition to Jupiter is like, all right, cool, I heard you. Here's an opportunity now. Here's the moment for you to make your mark, or to put your money where your mouth is, or for you to take that first step. Whereas you might have been in like the long game planning mode, but it's almost like as soon as you verbalize something, as soon as you jot down what you're wanting to bring into your life, or, you know, even writing it to your best friend, it's like, you know, here it is, and now it's manifested. In saying that, you know, these conjunctions have like a 1 to 2 year lifespan or cycle, just depending on the conjunction. So Sun and Venus is about a year, Venus and Mars is about a year, Sun and Mars, but in any case, it's like you will be aware of what is occurring in January, even if it takes a few months or a year or 2 years to play out. Okay, so the name of the game is your property and living situation, your family dynamics, whether that's with your existing family members or starting a family potentially, and even doing possibly a deep dive into your ancestry, your lineage, etc. Or there could be like a totally new like dynamic with your relationship with one of your parents, or with your children, or one of your children. Okay, so let's keep it moving. I haven't mentioned this for all the signs, but just so you're aware, Venus, which is your chart ruler, will enter Aquarius on the 17th of January, which means Venus will be in your 5th house. This is far, far easier and more like supportive energy for you to navigate, because of the 5th house is one of the best houses in astrology. It's related to love and romance, but more to the point, Venus, which is your chart ruler, will then be trining you. Okay, so things will start to get easier from then onwards. All right, so moving along, Libra, on the 18th or the 19th of January, depending where you live in the world, we will have the new moon in Capricorn in your 4th house. So I've just got the chart up on the screen here. As you can see, it's like so well aspected. There's only blue lines, so that means there's a bunch of sextiles and a bunch of trines that are happening here. Obviously Mercury and Mars are conjunct as well, so that is coinciding with the new moon in Capricorn in your 4th house. But like I said, you know, it's positive energy all around. The way in which this is maybe challenging you is that all these 4 planets are the 4 planets in Capricorn are all squaring you. So the Libras who would feel that on a more intense and potentially challenging level would be those who are in the last like 5 to 10 degrees of Libra. So let's say the last decan, between 20 and 29 degrees, but definitely between 26 and 29. Okay, so the new moon in your 4th house could, like I said, indicate that new chapter as it relates to your property and living situation and family situation. So looking to buy a property, invest, rent your property out, sell. This could be you applying for a visa, for you applying for, let's say, permanent residency or citizenship, maybe a working visa. On a different note, this could be a new chapter or new seeds that are planted about relocating, but maybe it's more like in the long term. Okay, a year from now, where do I want to live? Or even a few months from now, where do I want to live? Or maybe it is about you taking responsibility for someone in your life who is dependent on you. That can be newborn children, that can be younger children, that can be your elderly parents, or this could be about your own end of life directive. I believe that's what they call it. So just deciding and putting it in writing, like formalizing what you want to happen to you as you move towards the end of your life. And by the way, this isn't me presupposing anything for you. It's just, you know, I obviously have quite a wide range of people watching at all different ages and age groups, so I don't really want to leave anyone out. Okay, so then what we've got, Libra, on the 20th of January is Saturn in Pisces in your 6th house, sextiling Uranus in Taurus in your 8th house, but Saturn is also going to be sextiling Mars in Capricorn in your 4th house. Okay, so 4th, 6th, and 8th houses here. This formation is what we call a small talent triangle. Sometimes it's called a small grand trine, and as you might imagine, it has positive connotations to it. In saying that, the sextile aspect of it represents something that you need to act on. Okay, it's not a passive astrological formation. It's like if someone says, hey, I know a job you'd be great for, like give me a call if you want to explore those options, then of course the ball is in your court to pick up the phone and make the call. So it's almost like leaving money on the table if you don't act on this small talent triangle or this small grand trine. So just maybe jot it down, Libra, 20th of January, and just see like what is coming up in the way of opportunities. Maybe this is to do with getting a loan, mutual resources and investment, wealth management, combining your resources with another person. Maybe this is to do with someone allowing you to live in one of their properties, or even just like go to their beach house as an example, because we have the involvement of the 4th house here. Okay, so then between the 20th and the 23rd of January, we're going to have the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all entering the sign of Aquarius one by one by one. And what that means is between the 23rd of January and the 7th of February, we will have 5 planets in Aquarius in your 5th house. This is so positive for you, Libra, because 5 planets all trining you is going to make things a lot easier for you to handle, just generally speaking. The 5th house is such a lucky house, such a happy house, and we're actually going to have 6 conjunctions here in your 5th house. So between the 20th and the 29th of January, we will have Venus conjunct Pluto, that's at 3 degrees, Sun conjunct Mercury at 1 degree, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, that's all at 3 degrees. And then finally, almost at the very end of the month, Mercury conjunct Venus, but that's at 26 degrees. So it doesn't seem possible. Hang on, let me double check something. Mercury conjunct Venus. One sec. I guess I could have waited till the end, but also I couldn't wait because I'm a Mercury person. That's at 14 degrees. I beg your pardon. Okay, so Mercury conjunct Venus at 14 degrees, and that is right at the end of the month, basically. Okay, so as you were, you've got 6 conjunctions happening in your 5th house. Now, let's just talk a little bit about what the 5th house represents and rules over, so that you can get a bit of a flavor or a bit of an idea of what kinds of new chapters could be coming through. So it would be remiss of me not to mention straight off the bat to a Libra that the 5th house is all about love, romance, and also sex. So 6 conjunctions here involving Venus, your chart ruler, plus Mars, your 7th house ruler, plus Pluto. I mean, there's definitely strong activations to you romantically speaking. So if you are not in a relationship, then this could indicate that you are meeting someone new, meeting someone special, sparks are flying, maybe things happen quite quickly. If there's already someone in your life, then maybe this is you taking things to the next level. And Aquarius energy is like, it's just, you know, there's no preamble. It's just like instantaneous. It's a very abrupt sign and fast moving, unpredictable sign, right? So just as an example, or just to give you an example of what I mean, Aquarius rules over lightning, right? And lightning is just like you blink and then it's over. In fact, the man who's been struck by lightning the most times in like ever in the Guinness Book of Records, it was something like 8 or 9 times. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, I need to look up his birthday. I bet you he's an Aquarius. And guess what? He's an Aquarius. Okay, so just a random factoid to prove a point that no one asked for. But moving along, Libra, the 5th house also rules over children. So this could indicate that you're wanting to start a family or expand your existing family further. If you already have children, then this indicates some sudden, fast-paced, unexpected changes that are happening with them. So don't be surprised if they pick up the phone and they call you and they're like, hey, mom, dad, or like whoever, whatever your name is, to them, you know, this thing is happening in my life, or that thing is happening in my life. I'm moving here, I'm buying a property, I'm pregnant. So maybe you're going to become a grandparent. That's another way that that could be playing out. So, you know, in terms of love and romance, in terms of your sex life as well, even if you're not getting into a relationship, maybe this is a new sexual chapter that is starting with someone, even if it's quote unquote not that deep, not that serious. The 5th house also rules over starting your own business, owning your own business, okay? So this could indicate that you're having ideas about wanting to start your own business or expand your existing business further. So conjunctions are kind of like new moon energy. We're planting new seeds. They're new beginnings that are taking place for us, right? So the 5th house also rules over our hobbies and our passions. So you could be discovering something that you're really excited about pursuing. Maybe it's a new sport, maybe it's painting or dancing, right? So there's just a bunch of different ways that this can play out, but to me it looks really, really positive. And especially the Libras who are in those earlier degrees, you know, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 degrees. You guys will be the most aspected or the most impacted by these conjunctions, and even 14 degrees for the tail end Mercury-Venus conjunction. Okay, Libra, so then we've got on the 26th or the 27th of January, depending where you live in the world, meaning if you're in the States, 26th, if you're in Australia like me, 27th, Neptune is going to enter the sign of Aries. So here's the thing, you've already experienced a bit of a taste of this transit. So that was basically the very end of March through till early November of 2025. But now come late January, it's like, boom, you know, that was the precursor. And now this is the meat and potatoes of it, because this is like a 13-14 year long transit. I'm not going to go into it in this horoscope because I've already gone into it. I have a Neptune in Aries video that is up on my channel already, so you can check that out by just digging around in my astrology videos. I think it's on my homepage. So hopefully that's easy for you to find. Otherwise, I'll just link it in the description box below and in the comment box below. I'll pin a comment there for you. So Libra, if you enjoyed this video, can you do me a favor and please give the video a thumbs up? Share the video around if you think other people will enjoy it, and of course subscribe to this channel only if you're wanting to see more content from me. And also I am on Instagram and Facebook as well, and I post very, very regularly about astrological updates, new moons, full moons, plus tarot content. Okay, Libra, enjoy your month ahead, and I will see you guys in February. Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 horoscope. So, less than 24 hours ago, we had a full moon in Cancer, which I will show you now up on the screen. And even though it was yesterday, it is worth mentioning, and the reason for that is because full moon energy can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before and even 1 to 2 weeks after the event has taken place. So this particular full moon was in your 9th house. It made a tight opposition to Venus and Mars, and also a wide conjunction with Jupiter in Cancer. So the main point of this particular full moon and how it would have impacted you is that it would be positive because it was trining you. Jupiter is also trining you, which is great. So this indicates that you could have had some kind of realization or epiphany that positively shifted your belief systems, whether these are spiritual, religious, political, ideological, just like how do you believe the world even works, right? So maybe you have let go of old programming, old software that you've been running psychologically that is not helpful for you, and now you're able to transition into a healthier frame of mind. And this could have come through via some unexpected conversations with other people. I dare say maybe even probing or slightly uncomfortable conversations with other people thanks to the opposition in Mars and also Venus in your 3rd house. But I repeat, Scorpio, if you haven't experienced this yet, just know that you've still got another 1 to 2 weeks of this full moon energy being activated for you in your 9th house. For others of you, this could indicate that there's like an important travel trip that you are going on, whether that is interstate or international. This could be the end or the conclusion of a legal matter. Even if it's not the end, maybe it's an important development, legally speaking. For others of you, this could indicate that you are maybe graduating from a degree that you have been studying, or perhaps there's some sort of recognition of you as a teacher, as a guide, as a counselor, or a mentor of some sort. Okay, so let's move along, Scorpio. Between the 1st and the 20th of January, this is when we've got the stellium of planets in Capricorn in your 3rd house and the new moon and all these new conjunctions and cycles taking place. Then in the last 7 to 10 days of the month, all those planets are going to shift into Aquarius in your 4th house. So all of this is to say that the first 20 or so days versus the last 10 or so days of the month are going to feel really, really different, like chalk and cheese. And for you guys, the easier part is those first 3 weeks. Things are going to get a little more hairy towards the end of the month just because all those planets will be squaring you. So we've got the Sun conjunct Venus, Venus conjunct Mars, which is one of your chart rulers, and then the Sun conjunct Mars, all occurring between about the 6th and the 9th of January. Okay, then a little later in the month, Mercury will also conjunct Mars in Capricorn. That's on the 18th. So each of these planets are then going to start opposing Jupiter one by one. So what this means is we've got 4 new cycles that are beginning, 4 new chapters that are starting. And because this is in the 3rd house, this relates to writing, communications, things like website development, app development, your social media platforms, your social media presence. The 3rd house is a business house, so maybe this is like a new marketing campaign, a new sales campaign, new products that you are selling, whether that's in your own business or the person that you work for. This could be new clients that are coming on board, or this could be a new contract that you are signing, even if it's not to do with work. For example, this could be to do with property, right? The 3rd house also rules over short form education, okay, upskilling, certificates, diplomas, like certifications, apprenticeships is what I wanted to say. So maybe you are initiating that process where you are enrolling to learn, or perhaps you are looking at developing your own course content material. That is another way that that can be playing out. The third house also rules over working in small groups, working in small teams. It rules over things like your friends, your siblings, your co-workers, your neighbors, and also your local network. So there can be new chapters that are starting in that respect, right? So it can be like getting involved with your local community, with your local neighborhood, going into business with a friend, or going into business with a sibling, as an example. And you know, obviously there's a lot of different ways that that can play out. So do just take it as it resonates. What did I want to say? All of these planets are opposing Jupiter, like I said, in your ninth house. And so how I've described it to the other signs is you plant these new seeds, you're like, oh, that could be a cool idea. Maybe I want to do this, or maybe I want to do that. And as soon as you even like slightly decide or mentally commit, or even verbally commit to something, the opposition to Jupiter is like, okay, like sign here in blood, or like, you know, let's get you to really commit to this. Let's expand that opportunity. So for example, if you're like, oh, I want to take on 2 apprentices, somehow all of a sudden you can have like 10 people who are putting their hand up being like, I want to be an apprentice with you, I want to be an apprentice with you. And it's almost like by sheer volume and overwhelm in terms of like these opportunities coming through other people or external circumstances, you're like, oh God, I guess I really am doing this thing that I thought that I could just like keep to myself and chip away at over time. So it's the energy of going hard or going home. It's like all or nothing energy, right? So I repeat, those conjunctions are occurring in the first 20 days of the month. And because these planets are all sextiling you from the third house, it's really positive for you. You know, this is a beneficial aspect, but the nature of sextiles are that you can't be passive. You have to act on them. It's the equivalent of someone saying, you know, hey, I've got all of these books that would help you on this new thing that you're interested in studying. If you want them, you've got to come over to my house and just come over to my house and grab them when you're ready. Just give me a call. So it's like the ball is in your court and you have to act on it, rather than it's like things aren't as easy as they would be if there's a trine, because there has to be some kind of effort on your part to capitalize on it, if that makes sense. Okay, so then we've got a new moon in Capricorn. Let me put it up on the screen. So that's on the 18th or the 19th of January, depending where you live in the world. So new moons, like full moons, the energy of them can be felt 1 to 2 weeks before and 1 to 2 weeks after. So even now, you know, as you're watching this video, if you're watching it shortly after it goes live, we're in the throes of this energy. Okay, so the new moon is occurring in your third house. As you can see, it is coinciding with the Mercury-Mars conjunction, which is taking place at 26 degrees, and it's in a super positive astrological formation. It's trining Uranus and Taurus in your 7th house, plus it is sextiling Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, which is in your 5th house. Okay, so the new moon in your 3rd house, to me, is just doubling down on that opportunity to upskill, professional development, new courses that you may want to enroll in, new writing projects that could be for like a YouTube channel, writing a book, a documentary, docuseries, even film photography, anything that involves technology. Also engineering is just coming through, like maybe working on some kind of engineering project, or working in a small group or a small team with other people, maybe starting a business with other people, or working on some kind of project for your local neighborhood or for your local community. And like I said earlier, sales campaigns, marketing campaigns, etc., or maybe signing important contracts. And this could be for property, for real estate, just because we've got 28 degrees reflected here, which is the Cancer degree. On the 20th of January, Saturn in Pisces in your 5th house is going to sextile Uranus in Taurus in your 7th house. At the same time, Saturn is also going to sextile Mars in Capricorn, and we can see a beautiful trine forming there between Neptune and Mercury too. I digress. So this formation of the two sextiles and the trine is what we call a small talent triangle or small grand trine. So as you might imagine, that reflects the opportunity for positive developments. But again, if we remember what sextiles represent, it's like, okay, but you have to act on it, right? So the 5th house, Saturn in the 5th house, is all about creativity. So this can be creative writing, this can be giving some kind of musical performance or even athletic performance. Maybe this is to do with relationships, right? So love, romance, children, starting a family, or even starting your own business or expanding your existing business further. So Saturn at the apex here indicates something about commitment, something about discipline, something about being in it for the long haul. It's like what's happening around the 20th. And this is also baked into the cake of the new moon as well. So what's happening around this time, it's like it's going to take effort. You're laying the foundations. It's not going to happen overnight. This is like seeds that you are going to plant and that you're going to water for quite a long time. So this could really level you up in terms of owning your own business, career, becoming a parent, maybe a step parent, foster, adoptive, etc. Or it could be basically formalizing your relationship and making it exclusive somehow. Because the 5th house rules over children, then for some of you, this could relate to the life of one of your children, right? So maybe it's not happening to you, but it's happening to your children, and you're like, oh wow, like they're getting really serious about this thing. Maybe they're getting a full-time job. Maybe they're enrolling in a university program, or they're making their relationship more official, or maybe you're becoming aware of the fact that you could become a grandparent soon. Okay, so those are just a few different ways that could be playing out. Now let's just move this off the screen, Scorpio. Between the 20th and the 23rd of January, the Sun, Mercury and Mars, which is your chart ruler, will all enter the sign of Aquarius. So between the 23rd of January and the 7th of February, we will have 5 planets in Aquarius in your 4th house. We have Venus, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and Pluto. And between the 20th and the 29th of January, we're going to have 6 conjunctions between said planets. So we've got a conjunction between Venus and Pluto, Sun and Mercury, Mercury and Pluto, Sun and Pluto, Mars and Pluto, and Mercury and Venus. Most of these are occurring at 3 degrees. We've got one at 1 degree. And then the very last one is Mercury and Venus at 14 degrees. So definitely the Scorpios who are between 0, 5, 6 degrees will feel it significantly. You'll feel it the most. But even those of you around 14 degrees will also experience it too. So basically the 4th house, which I think I already mentioned, but let's recap, relates to your family, your property, your living situation, and your relationships with your family, your parents, your children, your ancestry, your lineage, but also your sense of safety, your sense of security, and your deep-seated emotions. So it will be an emotional time, especially between the 23rd and the 7th of February. Those last 10 days of the month, 11 days of the month will also be emotional as well. But we have a whole lot of new beginnings and chapters that are starting for you, and you are at the helm of many of these because Mars is your chart ruler. Pluto is, also your modern chart ruler as well, and they are involved in like more than half of these. More than half of these conjunctions. So this indicates that there seems to be changes that are coming through, or seeds that are being planted about where do you live, the house that you own or the house that you are renting, investment properties, who lives with you, who your tenants are, the state of the house, who will inherit the house, whether that's you inheriting the house or you wanting to, draw up a will potentially for the house, for the property. This also indicates connecting with family on a deeper level, learning more about your ancestry, learning more about your lineage. Maybe there's some kind of revelation that comes through about people in your family, secrets being revealed. Maybe you're doing the digging, you are a Scorpio after all, exposing certain secrets, or perhaps it's not quote unquote about exposure. Maybe it's about you just being more open, being more vulnerable. But I have no doubt that wouldn't be easy for you because these conjunctions are all squaring you, and that's like that inherently poses some kind of challenging energy. But this is also very much about legacy. What are you creating? What do you want to leave behind? Maybe this is you wanting to invest in property, sell property. Maybe this is you wanting to expand, wanting to renovate, wanting to redesign. And because the fourth house rules over family, then, for some of you, this could be to do with caretaking responsibility. Who are your dependents? Is it your elderly parents? Is it your grandparents? Is it your children? Are you just, are you a new parent? Do you have newborn children? These are all things that seem to be shown by these conjunctions in the fourth house. And maybe some of you are pursuing that path. You want to be a parent. Maybe this is like adoptive, step parent, IVF, foster parent, godparent. There seems to be something here about caretaking and nurturing people in your life, whether they're young or they're old, or they're, relying on you in some capacity. And for others of you, this could be like, I need time alone. I need time by myself. I need to go on a retreat. So maybe you are hosting a retreat, attending a retreat, or allowing people to come to your home as some kind of retreat. And you know what, that seems like a big one. It seems like there is this energy of allowing someone to come and stay in your home with you. Okay, just because Pluto represents mutual resources, and then the fourth house is like your living situation. Okay, so lastly, Scorpio, it's worth mentioning that on the 26th/27th of January, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to enter the sign of Aries in your fifth house. Now, I've already done a video on this, so don't ask me in this forecast to go into it again. I've already done, about 10-minute forecast for the 12 signs, so you can find that on my Caistrology YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button if you are wanting to see more content from me. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would help me tremendously if you gave it a like and shared it around. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook as well if you're wanting to see more regular updates from me. I'm always posting about the full moon, the new moon, transits, etc. Plus a lot of tarot content is on there as well. So thank you, Scorpio. Enjoy your month ahead. I'll see you in February. And now let's move on to Sagittarius. Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 horoscope. So Sagittarius, we've had a full moon in Cancer in your 8th house, and that was less than 24 hours ago. So I'm just going to pop it up on the screen because it is definitely worth mentioning, given that full moon energy can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon and 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon. So full moon in the 8th house could manifest for you as receiving some kind of support from other people. So that could be in the way of mutual resources such as financial resources, emotional support, moral support, someone lending you equipment or tools or something that you need that's really going to help you. The full moon in the 8th house could have led to you really having to be vulnerable and wear your heart on your sleeve in some sort of setting that may have resembled like therapy, okay? Just because the 8th house is very much connected to healing, plus the full moon was conjunct Jupiter, which rules over things like counselors and guides and mentors. So on a different note, the full moon in the 8th house could indicate that your significant other is experiencing some sort of big fluctuation in their income or in their pay. Okay, I'm inclined to say it's a boost because of the conjunction to Jupiter, and Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. Because the full moon occurred in the 8th house, it looks to me like it was probably a pretty emotional time for you. So maybe psychologically speaking, there's a lot going on right now. That will start to, I guess, dissipate the further on we get from this full moon, right? So it only just happened yesterday, so that's when emotions were at an all-time high, and so things are just going to start to I don't want to say get easier, but whatever emotional spike you experienced around the full moon could sort of dissipate. Okay, so let's move along, Sagittarius. What we have is a stellium of planets in Capricorn in your 2nd house, and that will be for the first nearly 3 weeks of the month. We've got the Sun, Venus, Mars, plus Mercury all in your 2nd house, which indicates that 2nd house themes are really at the top of mind for you. Finances, resources, your income, financial security, plus things like feelings of worthiness and your self-esteem. These are all basically tied up in the 2nd house. Okay, so we've got 4 conjunctions happening here. We've got Sun conjunct Venus, we've got Venus conjunct Mars, Sun conjunct Mars. So that's all between the 6th and the 9th of January. Then a little bit later, closer to the new moon, we've got a Mercury-Mars conjunction on the 18th. So because the Sun, Venus, and Mars are all going to start systematically opposing Jupiter and Cancer one by one, to me, the biggest, I'm going to say strain, how do I put it? Probably one of the most intense times of the month for you will be between about the 6th and the 12th of January. So you just need to navigate through that, and then I promise things will start to get easier and easier once we have more planets entering the sign of Aquarius. So not only is there this big focus on your finances and your resources, but potentially also things like your diet as well, because the 2nd house rules over food, it rules over farming, the 2nd house rules over teeth, and Capricorn also sort of Saturn rules over the bones, and so therefore Capricorn and Saturn are sort of connected to teeth in that way. So these conjunctions indicate new beginnings that are taking place, a new chapter. And like I said, there's 4 of them, right? So it could be like a new money-making venture, a new stream of income, or just like working towards procuring a certain investment or a valuable, working on elevating your sense of feelings of worthiness, self-esteem, like self-care, self-nourishment, how you nurture yourself. All of these things could be coming through for you. 2nd house is also a pretty creative house, and it is also one of the property houses. So there could be movement on the level of creative projects, or just the development of your existing creative gifts and talents, plus maybe something to do with property and real estate here. So looking at buying, looking at selling, looking at investing, looking at expanding, or laying down foundations, really. Okay, so then on the 18th or the 19th, we have a new moon in Capricorn in your 2nd house, and that will be at 28 degrees. So like I said, this 2nd house of yours is extremely activated, and it's like new moon, new me, new plans, new seeds of intentions, etc. So it's a very positively aspected new moon in your second house. It does coincide with the Mercury-Mars conjunction. It's making a sextile to Saturn and Neptune and a trine to Uranus in Taurus. And ultimately, this can indicate that you are wanting to earn more money, generate a new stream of income. It is a positive time for you to set intentions about what you're wanting to do with your money. So wealth management, finance management, setting budgets. Maybe this is you making plans for what you want to buy, what you want to invest in, or perhaps even what you are wanting to sell. Okay, so it's like long-term thinking and planning about your financial situation, and that's very much the theme for you for the first 3 weeks of January, to be honest. Okay, so then Sagittarius on the 20th, we've got Saturn in Pisces in your 4th house, sextile and Uranus in Taurus in your 6th house, and Saturn in Pisces is also going to sextile Mars in Capricorn in your 2nd house too. So in astrology, we call this a small talent triangle or a small grand trine, which as you might imagine points to positive things with this particular astrological formation, which is really quite uncommon or rare. So this is about the effort and the energy that you're putting in to capitalize on opportunities that present themselves. So it is not a passive aspect. You do have to act on it. If someone offers to lend you a hand, offers to, lend an ear or share their expertise with you, if someone is offering you advice, maybe it's a family member because it's Saturn in the 4th house, someone who's older than you, maybe it's to do with your grandparents or whoever was sort of like the primary authority figure in your house. It's like there's some kind of offer that's on the table that you're needing to act upon, even if it doesn't quote unquote involve other people in this way. Maybe it's like you're understanding that the conditions are right, or the conditions are ripe for you to make certain I want to say mover and shaker decisions that either affect you and your family, or your property and your living situation. Maybe you're wanting to start a family, or you're just preparing to expand your family further, or maybe you're preparing to have your children come and stay with you, or preparing to become a grandparent. Okay, so those are just a few different ways that can play out for you. So moving along, Sagittarius, between the 20th and the 23rd of January, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars will all enter the sign of Aquarius, which means that they will be transiting your 3rd house. So, as I said before, this is so much more like positive and easier energy for you to handle, because that means that they are sextiling you instead, or not instead, but it's like a major aspect. Okay, so where all the planets were in Capricorn in your 2nd house, that was a semi-sextile, I guess, or one form of an in conjunction, but not as powerful, not as beneficial as having all these planets in your 3rd house. So ultimately, you've got 5 planets here: Sun, Mercury, Mars, Pluto, and Venus. And between the 23rd of January and the 7th of February, that's how long you'll have the 5 planets in the 3rd house. So that's like a positive window of time for you as it relates to networking, collaborating, improving relationships with friends, co-workers and clients, sales, contracts, marketing, anything that involves communications. So there will be no less than 6 conjunctions. That's 6 new cycles that are occurring in the sign of Aquarius in your 3rd house. And this is all between the 20th and the 29th of January. So we've got Venus conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, and Mercury conjunct Venus. I don't expect you to remember all of those, but I'm just throwing them out there. So all of the key players are involved in a plethora of these conjunctions. So the 3rd house relates to communications, technology, sales, marketing. It is one of the social houses in astrology. It is considered to be a business house in astrology. So you may be starting a new business. You may be starting a new social media channel or platform. You may be starting a new or developing a new website. If you already have a business, and maybe this is the foraying into a new area of business or a new service that you want to offer or a new product that you want to sell. Maybe you're going into business with with your significant other, given that we've got Mercury involved in the conjunction here, or with a sibling or with a friend. The third house also relates to education. Okay, so it's really about upskilling, skill development. So maybe you are enrolling in a course. So this could be course content creation. This could be you undertaking a course or an apprenticeship. So wanting to enroll in something that will see you getting a diploma or some sort of qualification or certification at the end. The third house is also related to our local neighborhood, our local community. So maybe community work in some capacity will be coming through during this period of time. In any case, Aquarius is an air sign, and it is associated with really high levels of intelligence. It's also associated with AI as well. And then we've got Mercury here ruling over technology too. So to me, it looks like there's really an abundance of opportunities as it relates to business ideas, creative writing, technology, AI, business matters as well, which I think is really, really positive. And this indicates like positive communications. But I repeat, these are all sextiling you, okay? So what that means is you are going to have to act on these. You're going to have to accept that offer of help from a person, or accept their phone number, and if they say, hey, like, feel free to call me and pick my brain anytime, like, it has to be you that is taking the initiative to act on that, right? So lastly, Sagittarius, on the 26th/27th of January, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to re-enter the sign of Aries in your 5th house. Okay, so this will come through as a really, really welcome reprieve for you, because Neptune's at 29 degrees the whole month of January, right up until it enters Aries. And if you are Sagittarius in those last, 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 degrees, then this is not like easy energy for you to handle. So it will be like a real shift in energy as soon as you get to, like, honestly, as soon as you get to the last 7-10 days of the month, but even the last 4 to 5 days of the month, things will be easier, even more so. Okay, so I do have a video on Neptune in Aries. I've already done predictions for these for this transit, so you can find that on my Caistrology YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, Sagittarius, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more content on this channel, please hit the subscribe button. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook as well if you're wanting to see more regular content and activity from me. So that's astrology and tarot. Okay, Sagittarius, thanks for watching. See you next month. And now let's move on to Capricorn. Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 horoscope. Well, your sign is one of the most activated signs for the whole month of January. And that is because for pretty much all of the month, we've got, or 3/4 of the month, I should say, we've got 4 planets transiting your first house. So we've got Mercury, the Sun, Venus and Mars all in Capricorn. And before we get into that and all the conjunctions that these are going to make, let's first talk about the full moon in Cancer. Okay, so the full moon in Cancer occurred less than 24 hours ago, so that was on the 3rd of January, but it's still worth mentioning because full moon energy can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon and 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon. So the full moon was in your 7th house, and this was strongly activating you because it was opposing Venus and Mars and even Mercury in your first house. So there could have been some unexpected conversations that occurred or are yet to occur, and this could be with clients, this could be with your business partner, this could be with your significant other, or even your second born child as well. So the full moon in the 7th house could have seen you being released from some kind of contract or social obligation, or even like family obligation. Okay, or maybe there were changes to your child support arrangement or your child custody arrangement, just as an example. You could have had a really clarifying conversation with your spouse or with your significant other about your relationship, about where it is going, where you want it to go. And, you know, there may have been like a point of tension that arose with this particular full moon. In any case, full moons can serve as an inflection point for us where even if nothing is quote unquote happening, it's like you're realizing, okay, what do I want out of this relationship? Is it equal give and take? Am I happy with this person? Am I happy with where this is going or what I've agreed to? And so on and so forth. So Capricorn, we're going to have 4 conjunctions occurring in your sign, in your first house. And these will be between Sun and Venus, Venus and Mars, Sun and Mars. So first of all, that's at 16, 18 and 19 degrees respectively between about the 6th and the 9th of January. And then the 4th one is a bit later on and it coincides with the new moon. So that's Mercury and Mars conjunct at 26 degrees on the 18th. Okay, so nevertheless, new conjunctions carry the energy of a new moon because they indicate a new cycle that is occurring. So for you to have so many planets in your first house, I mean, there's really a multitude of ways that this could be playing out. It could be that you are wanting to take new steps in your career or in your goals, or in wanting to take on some kind of important challenge for yourself, whether that's to do with personal development or professional development, especially if you are a Capricorn Sun or a Capricorn Rising. If you are a Capricorn Moon or Capricorn Rising, then maybe this is more so playing out on a relationship level. Okay, so wanting to take a new relationship to the next level, wanting to take your existing relationship in a different direction or in a new direction. And of course, Capricorn is all about longevity, laying foundations, structure, discipline, devotion, commitment, and being in it for the long haul. So these new conjunctions that are occurring in your first house are indicative of you wanting to commit to something for quite a long time. And you know, these are like new, basically 1-year cycles that are occurring approximately between these planets that we're seeing here. So maybe you are wanting to take on a new contract that's going to take a year to pull off or come off, or perhaps you are thinking about getting engaged or getting married like a year from now, but you're sort of like feeling that person out or planting the seeds of those intentions, or maybe saving up for a ring. Like this, these are just examples. So of course, take it as it resonates. Maybe you're thinking about starting a new business, buying a new house, wanting to relocate, applying for some kind of government support, money, pension, disability fund. You know, these again are just a few different ways that this can play out. I guess the long and short of it, Capricorn, is that it's pretty clear that in the first 3 weeks of the month, especially between about the 6th and the 12th of January, you're thinking long and hard about, where am I going and who do I want to be going there with? What am I aiming towards? What are my plans? And, you know, let's be structured and realistic and reasonable about said plans, right? So why I say until the 12th of January is because after the Sun and Venus and Mars all have these conjunctions, they're going to start opposing Jupiter in Cancer one by one. And it's almost like as soon as you decide either for yourself or with another person what said plan is, the opposition to Jupiter is like, all right, cool. Well, you know, here's your opportunity to put that in writing. Here's your opportunity to commit to that. Here's your opportunity to, you know, show that you're really serious about this new plan that you've made or this new intention that you have set. Okay, Capricorn. So on the 18th or the 19th of the month, we are going to see the new moon in Capricorn taking place. So I've just popped that up on the screen. So that will be at 28 degrees. It will coincide with the Mercury Mars conjunction, which you can see there at 26 degrees. And fortunately, these are all making like really positive aspects. So there's a sextile to Saturn, which is your chart ruler and the ruler of the new moon. It's making a sextile to Neptune in Pisces, and it's all trining Uranus in Taurus. Of course, Uranus in Taurus is trining you from the 5th house. So this looks like a really auspicious new moon in my books. And it seems to be affecting a number of different areas of your life, just because Mercury rules over 2 houses and Mars rules over 2 houses as well. So to me, this could be you setting new goals, setting new plans, maybe wanting to go on a short trip away as well with Mercury. It could be like a short getaway trip, for example. I won't put too many contingencies on it. At the end of the day, it's new moon in your 1st house with Mercury, Mars positively aspected, and it looks like it involves other people, it involves other relationships, it involves being strategic in your plans somehow, given that we've got Mars exalted in Capricorn here, which is lovely. Okay, so then what we've got on the 20th, just changed charts on the screen here, is Saturn in Pisces in your 3rd house, sextiling Uranus in Taurus in your 5th house, plus Saturn will also be sextiling Mars in Capricorn in your 1st house. So astrologically speaking, this is what is known as a small talent triangle, or sometimes a small grand trine. And this basically indicates an opportunity for you to explore new talents, an opportunity for you to capitalize on opportunities that are coming your way. And the involvement of the 3rd house and the 5th house suggests to me that there's a creative element to it, there's a collaborative element to it, there's an opportunity for you to educate yourself further or enroll in some kind of program, or maybe looking at course content creation, or perhaps this is like joining a small group of people in learning something new, maybe forming a small team in your workplace, like a small department who's going to work on a project, or working on a project and collaborating with other people. Maybe you're looking at developing a new website or a new app or a new service, or maybe this is working on like a sales campaign or a marketing campaign. One thing's for sure, and that is that sextile aspects are not passive, which means that if there's an offer on the table, if someone's like, hey, call me if you want to know more, call me or text me if you're interested in this job, you know, DM me if you want some tips on like interviewing to somehow get into this industry. It's like the opportunity has been presented to you, but the onus is on you. The ball is in your court to accept that offer and follow it up. Okay, so Capricorn, between the 20th and the 23rd of January, we're going to see the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all entering the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so this means that your first house is no longer going to be activated. For the last 7 to 10 days of the month, it's basically all shifting gears from your first house through to your second house. So this means that for the last 7 to 10 days of the month, the focus then shifts to your finances, your income, your possessions, your valuables, your personal values. And the second house also represents how we spend our money, what we indulge in, beauty, hair care treatments, how we nourish ourselves, how we nurture ourselves. And that also extends to things like food and diet. So where we had 4 conjunctions in Capricorn in your first house, we will have 6 conjunctions in Aquarius in your second house, which is simply epic. So these following conjunctions will all take place between the 20th and the 29th of January. Venus conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, and then Mercury conjunct Venus right at the end. So most of these are 3 degrees. We've got one at 1 degree, then the last one is at 14 degrees. In any case, this can play out as you developing a new stream of income, signing up for something that is going to be like a monthly expense or a weekly expense or like a regular ongoing expense. Maybe this is you investing in a new possession, valuable or asset. This could be you wanting to learn how to cook a certain type of cuisine. So getting really interested in cooking or farming or agriculture. These are all second house themes. On a different note, this could be to do with property, because the second house is one of the property houses in astrology, the other one being the 4th house. So maybe you're looking at investing, buying, selling, renting your property out, moving in with another person. Okay, so that is another way that could be playing out for you, Capricorn. Maybe you're looking at renting out your property, which I may have mentioned already. And the second house is really to do with our self-esteem and feelings of worthiness. And so with all these conjunctions taking place in the second house, there may be some sort of initiative that you're taking or some sort of push for you to elevate your self-esteem and increase your confidence. Okay, and like I said, the second house is related to food. So maybe this is you trying out a new diet, or the second house relates to teeth and basically like the lower half of the face, but even hair as well. So it could be like a makeover in terms of your wardrobe, dental treatment. Maybe this is like to do with cosmetic surgery, for example, or just presenting totally differently, like haircut, piercings, etc. So lastly for the month, on the 26th or the 27th, we are going to see Neptune entering Aries in your 4th house. Now, first of all, I've already done a video on exactly this. So if you want to see predictions for you as a Capricorn, how it's going to play out, then you can find that on my YouTube channel. And it's under astrology videos, but it might even be like the homepage one when you like return to the page. Anyway, we did experience a bit of Neptune in Aries already last year for about 8 months, from let's say April through till early November. So that'll give you a bit of an indicator for what you can expect for, well, the themes and the flavors of the next 13, 14 months. And that's all I have for you, Capricorn. Definitely tune in for my February horoscope, because Saturn will be moving into Aries. More to the point, we've got the Saturn-Neptune Aries conjunction happening in February, plus an eclipse next month. So we'll be pretty much in the throes of eclipse season energy from even mid-January, and we've got a Mercury retrograde in February too. So thank you very much for watching your horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on the channel, hit the subscribe button and share this video with anyone that you think may enjoy it. Finally, I am on Instagram and Facebook as well, and I post very regularly there as it relates to astrological transits, updates, new moons, full moons, you name it, and tarot content too. Okay, Capricorn, enjoy January, and I will see you guys in February. So now let's shift to Aquarius. Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Excuse me. Welcome to your January 2026 horoscope. You guys are the star of this forecast because your sign, more than any other sign, is just so potently activated for the month ahead. So let's start from the top. Now, we did have a full moon yesterday on the 3rd of January, and that occurred in your 6th house. So even though it's already past Aquarius, full moon energy and new moon energy can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before said new moon and full moon, and 1 to 2 weeks after. So given that this full moon occurred in your 6th house, there may have been some sort of notable development as it relates to your work. Okay, so maybe this is the completion of an important project. This could be some sort of notable performance by one of your employees. Maybe for some of you, you've had to dismiss an employee. That's another way that that could play out. For others of you, maybe you've gone and adopted a pet, or you're fostering a pet around this time. This could be you paying off a big loan. That's another way that that can play out, because the 6th house relates to loans, or maybe you're approved for a big loan, righty? And also the 6th house relates to our health and like daily life admin tasks. So there could be a big breakthrough that you've experienced with your health or with your daily habits and routines. Maybe you're wanting to eliminate a bad habit. Okay, so kick a vice, overcome an addiction. That's very, very possible with this full moon in the 6th house, because it is opposing Mars and Venus and Mercury, and Mars is like to cut that out. Venus is what you indulge in, and so on and so forth. So moving along, Aquarius, between the 1st and the 20th, we will have a Capricorn a stellium of planets in Capricorn in your 12th house. So as I've said for some of the other signs, there will be a really different flavor. There's like 2 different energies to January. So the first is going to be the first 3 weeks of the month with the Capricorn energy in your 12th house. Then the second part, which is like about the last 7 to 10 days of the month, there's an Aquarius stellium. Okay, so things are going to feel really different between the first 3 weeks and then the tail end of the month. So we'll take it from the top. With these 4 planets transiting Capricorn in your 4th house, they're actually going to form 4 conjunctions. Okay, so we've got Sun conjunct Venus in your 12th house, Venus conjunct Mars, Sun conjunct Mars, and then Mercury conjunct Mars. Okay, so the 12th house is very much a subconscious house. It rules over anything that is hidden. It rules over self-sabotaging behaviors, our hidden fears and insecurities, plus things like escapism. In saying that, it also rules over, it's one of the creative houses. So it rules over creativity, music, spirituality, faraway places, retreats, and that sort of thing. So these new cycles that are starting are represented by the conjunctions. So we've got Sun and Venus, Venus-Mars, like I said. And so this can represent that there are new creative projects that you are taking on. So these can be to do with things like film, photography, filmography, acting, poetry, even stuff to do with, let's say, music, yoga, meditation. Like now we're sort of delving more into the spiritual side of things. So there could be like a new yoga practice that you are taking on, or you're going to be attending a retreat or hosting a retreat, just as an example. So these are new 1-year cycles approximately that are starting in the sign of Capricorn. So it's like you're planting those seeds in the first 3 weeks of the month, but maybe they're going to be unfolding over the course of the next few months, or even the course of the next year, right? So they are taking place on around the 6th, the 8th, the 9th, and then the 18th of January. But it doesn't mean that, they have to like happen right on the button. Okay, so just take it as it resonates. Something to note is that each of these planets will shortly thereafter oppose Jupiter in Cancer in your 6th house, and how I've described it to the other astrological signs, the other zodiac signs, is that it's like as soon as you plant those seeds and as soon as you set those intentions, it's like something happens and the universe responds, and it's an opportunity for you to really act on it's an opportunity for you to showcase your commitment to these new ideas, to these new seeds that you've planted, these new intentions that you've set. Whereas other times, we might set intentions or make goals and plans, and it can take a long time for there to be like the seed that sprouts. But here with the opposition to Jupiter, it's like there's almost an immediate effect. It's like a Marco Polo call and answer from the universe, is what I wanted to say there. So I haven't mentioned this for all the other signs, but I will for you because you're an Aquarius. On the 17th of January, Venus is going to enter the sign of Aquarius. So it will be transiting your 1st house, and that will be until the 10th of February. So this can see you being more charismatic, experiencing more smooth sailing in your relationships, in friendships, maybe feeling more flirty, maybe being aware of people who seem to be showing interest in you in some way. Okay, so then Aquarius, on the 18th or the 19th, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon in Capricorn in your 12th house at 28 degrees. So I've put the chart up on the screen there. You can see it's very well aspected. All those blue lines represent trines and sextiles and whatnot. So there's no negative aspects to this particular new moon, which is great. It is in your 12th house. So I repeat, this could be playing out at more of a psychological level for you. It could be that you are going more inwards, so it could be like a spiritual experience for you, or something to do with meditation, or a new cycle, new chapter that's beginning where you're like, okay, I want to commit to a regular yoga routine, a regular meditation practice, or I want to start painting regularly or drawing regularly, or like playing a musical instrument. Okay, so there could be some sort of creative practice or creative project that you are wanting to commence. The 12th house is also psychology, it's therapy. To be fair, so is the 8th house, but sometimes there's overlap between the houses. So maybe you're deciding that you want to see a therapist, or that you want to maybe get an astrology reading done, or go deeper into astrology, or learn about things like the tarot, hypnotherapy, past life regressions, Reiki, etc. So you could be wanting to get more hands-on experience in some sort of divinatory practice or healing capacity. Okay, so Then on the 20th, just changed charts there, we've got Saturn in Pisces in your second house, sextiling Uranus in Taurus in your fourth house, and Saturn is also going to sextile Mars in Capricorn too. Okay, and that will be in your 12th house. Sorry, just blanking. So in astrology, we call this a small talent triangle or a small grand trine. Okay, and it represents the opportunity for you to capitalize on something that is on offer. So because Saturn is in the second house and it is at the apex here, it's the apex planet, to me this indicates that it relates to finances, resources, valuables, and possessions. So maybe this is an opportunity for you to generate more income, generate a new stream of income, increase your finances somehow. Maybe this is done through selling off some of your possessions and valuables because it's Saturn. Maybe it's to do with reupholstering things or antiques or thrifting. Okay, that's another way that could be playing out. The second house is one of the property houses in astrology, if I haven't mentioned that already. So perhaps there's the opportunity here for you to invest more in your property, or perhaps someone is offering to come and lay certain foundations or build or just do works on your property, either for free or at a heavily reduced cost. So another way that this could play out is that you are maybe investing more in your own skills and talents, especially because both Saturn and Uranus are involved here, and those are both of your chart rulers. So to me, this represents a really beautiful opportunity for you to somehow invest in your own gifts and talents further. Okay, so moving along, Aquarius, between the 20th and the 23rd of the month of January, we're going to have the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all shifting into the sign of Aquarius. So basically, between the 23rd of January and the 7th of February, we'll have 5 planets in your first house: Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, and Pluto, and they will form 6 conjunctions in your first house, if you can believe such things. So we've got Venus conjunct Pluto at 3 degrees, Sun. Oh my gosh, thank God. Okay. You can't imagine the panic of being 3.5 hours deep into a live stream and thinking that I've lost it all. Okay, so as I was saying, we've got 6 conjunctions taking place between Venus and Pluto, Sun and Mercury, Mercury and Pluto, Sun and Pluto, Mars and Pluto, Mercury, Venus. Okay, so that's all in Aquarius, and that is all in your first house. So as I mentioned earlier, conjunctions have the same energy as a new moon because it basically represents a brand new cycle that is starting. Most of these cycles are about 1 year duration, but we've also got Mars conjunct Pluto, which is 2 years. So there's a bunch of 1 and 2 year cycles that are starting, and because it involves so many different planets, this can really play out on a number of different levels. But let's just say if you're an Aquarius sun or an Aquarius rising, then this can be to do with work, a new career opportunity that you want to pursue, a new position that you want to enroll in, an opportunity for you to step up in terms of leadership in your existing industry, maybe becoming your own boss, maybe starting your own business or wanting to go it alone. If you already own your own business, then maybe this is like, I think I'm ready to bring employees on board and expand my, my pool of employees further. Okay, so that's more so if you're an Aquarius sun or if you're an Aquarius rising. If you're an Aquarius moon or Aquarius rising, then this can be playing out more on the level of relationships or to do with property. So it can be you wanting to, make your relationship exclusive somehow, or you're making plans with your significant other or with your spouse about next steps, wanting to collaborate together, start a business together, maybe start a family together. And it can also be you going into business with another person. Doesn't have to be your significant other. It can be a friend, a sibling, because we've got Mercury here. It can be, someone that you've done business with before, or an acquaintance who you've gotten to know better over time. If you're an Aquarius moon or again rising, then this could relate to your property and living situation. So it's like, okay, I think that I want to relocate here, or I want to move there, or I want to apply for permanent residency or citizenship, or what's the other ones? A visa, right? So definitely the Aquarians who will be the most impacted would be those who are Aquarius rising more than sun or moon. This is why I always say go watch your sun, moon and rising. Don't just stick to like one or the other. But regardless, even if you're an Aqua sun or an Aqua moon, the fact that we have 6 conjunctions in your sign means that there's definitely change that is coming through. And I repeat, this is more so in the last 10-11 days of the month. So these conjunctions are occurring between the 20th and the 29th of January, and to me it looks like you're ready to transform, because all of these conjunctions involve Pluto, which is just transforming at that soul level, that deep level. But I would say that there is potential for there to be really unexpected change, because Aquarius can just be like that, right? You know what it's like, you're Aquarians. So it could be like a rapid change, rapid transformation, instantaneous shifts in relationships, in projects, in ideas, in manifestations. Certainly there's really powerful energy here for manifestation. And haven't mentioned this to the other signs, but I did actually do a manifestation workshop webinar. It's 2 hours long. You can find it at Caistrology.com, and so that can be really beneficial in you just crystallizing your thoughts, getting clear on what you want to welcome and receive into your life, and maybe you might want to time it with one of these conjunctions. So lastly, Aquarius, on the 26th or 27th of January, depending where you live in the world, Neptune is going to enter the sign of Aries. So we did already experience this transit, like the preamble, in 2025. So for 8 months between the end of March and early November, we did experience Neptune in Aries. So that will give you a bit of a clue as to, or a flavor for what the next 13, 14 years holds. I have actually already done a Neptune in Aries video. So if you're wanting to find out, well, what's Neptune have in store for me, then you can go and check that out. That's on my Caistrology YouTube channel. So just, you'll find it in the astrology videos playlist. Anyway, Aquarius, thank you so much for watching your video. Thank you for bearing with me with the little glitch out. And if you're wanting to see more content from me, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, and I post super regular updates there of what's happening astrologically speaking. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy these conjunctions and this heavy activation to your sign, Aquarius, and feel free to let me know as the month progresses how this has been playing out for you. Okay, without further ado, let's shift to Pisces. Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your January 2026 horoscope. So Pisces, it's worth noting that Neptune, which is one of your chart rulers, will actually be at 29 degrees for almost the whole month. So that's right up until the 26th/27th of January. So I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind, because anytime a planet is at 29 degrees and the closer and closer it gets to shifting to that next sign, it can be like a really pressurized time for us. And in terms of how it plays out, it depends what that planet rules over and which sign it's transiting. So Neptune in your first house can play out as on one hand feeling very emotional, close to tears, just emotional ups and downs, but on the other hand it can also be deep healing. Oh my gosh, I'm letting go of this resentment, I'm letting go of this grudge, I'm feeling really divinely inspired, I'm feeling like I'm more connected to my higher self, or I'm experiencing more compassion for myself or for other people. But ultimately we are all experiencing Neptune at 29 degrees, whether we're Pisces or not. And it's not an easy energy to contend with, because it can lead to confusion, fatigue, disturbed sleep, weird dreams, not sleeping as well as normal, or needing to sleep a lot more than is usual. So your regular energy levels may be quite impacted by Neptune at 29 degrees. So that will reach a climax probably around 24th, 25th, 26th of January. Like the closer you get to the 26th, 27th, the more intense that will become. So maybe just clear your schedule for those 2 or 3 days beforehand, so that you can just like go inwards and just do what you need to do. Okay, so Pisces, let's talk about the full moon. We had a full moon in Cancer that was just under 24 hours ago on the 3rd of January. So even though it's past, it is worth a mention, because full moon energy can be with us 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon occurs and 1 to 2 weeks after the full moon occurs. So this one occurred at 13 degrees in your 5th house, and it was in a wide conjunction with Jupiter, which is of course one of your chart rulers, the other being Neptune. So fortunately for you, the full moon was trining you in the 5th house. So this could have indicated or brought through some sort of positive conclusion to a creative project, to a creative performance, to an athletic performance. This could indicate that you had a really positive experience with one of your children or a child in your life. So maybe that's a niece or a nephew, or a student. The 5th house also represents our our dating life, so love, romance, sex life, etc. And the full moon was opposite Mars as well as Venus. So for some of you, this could have ushered in some sort of like romantic experience or romantic development with another person. For others of you, maybe this full moon helped you to actually let go of an old flame, someone that you were involved with romantically speaking, and it's like, okay, I've let this person go. Closure is actually the word that is coming to mind. So if you feel that you don't have closure just yet, then know that over the next 1 to 2 weeks, that is still very, very possible for you. And the 5th house also rules over our hobbies, our passions and talents. So this could have seen you honing certain skills further, developing them, maybe having an opportunity to perform or parade them, and maybe receiving some kind of positive feedback or positive acknowledgement. Okay, Pisces, so let's just move along. The first 3 weeks of the month, it's very much Capricorn town, because we've got Sun, Venus, Mars, and Mercury all in Capricorn in your 11th house. So this is really positive for you, because these 4 planets will all be sextiling you as a Pisces rising sun or moon. And we've got 4 conjunctions that are taking place in the 11th house. But first things first, let's talk about what the 11th house represents and rules over, so that you get an idea of where your focus and energy and attention is being placed for the first 3 weeks of the month. So the 11th house rules over your long-term goals and plans for your future. It represents your wider network, your social media platform, or your social media presence. The 11th house is very much associated with rewards, recognition, and accolades. So the 11th house also represents PhDs, and it's one of the money houses in astrology, so it really can relate to lump sums of money, payouts, the money that we receive as support from the government. That's another manifestation of it. So you've got Sun conjunct Venus here on the 6th, Venus conjunct Mars on the 8th, Sun conjunct Mars on the 9th, and then Mercury conjunct Mars, which is going to coincide with the new moon on the 18th. So because these conjunctions are sextiling you, you do have to act upon it, okay? This isn't something that just like falls in your lap. No, it is not a passive aspect. You have to pick up the phone, text the person, send the email, make your own luck. But it's like you're reacting to an opportunity that's already been presented to you. So it's almost like money that's left on the table if you don't act on it. I'll give you an example, which I think I've used for some of the other signs, and that is, let's say you meet someone who works at the company that you would love to work for. You just meet them when you're, out at the shops or something, and you get talking, and they're like, oh, we've got jobs that are going. If you want some pointers about how you should interview and things you should bring up, then here's my number, call me if you want. Okay, so the onus would be on you, the ball would be in your court to call this person and be like, hey, that thing you offered, I'd love to take you up on that. You see what I'm saying? So the 11th house is also related to, like I said before, your long-term goals, but it's like strategic goals, socioeconomic goals. It's like, it's not grandiose plans that are a bit delulu, as the young kids say. It's more like strategic, methodical steps that you can take to achieve said goals. So on the 18th or the 19th, depending where you live in the world, we will have a new moon in Capricorn, which I've got up on the screen. And I repeat, this will be in your 11th house. So just a few different ways that these activations to your 11th house could be playing out. You could be joining a new community, forming a new community, seeking out investors, so getting people to invest in your ideas or in you somehow, starting a new social media channel or platform, applying for a PhD, starting a PhD, applying for the pension, whether that is retirement or related to some kind of disability pension or concession. You could be applying for some kind of prestigious award or recognition. You could be generating a new passive or residual form of income. You could be looking at receiving rents or royalties in some capacity. And so on and so forth. I'm sure there are other ways that this could play out, but that's just a good starting point for you guys. Okay, so then on the 20th of January, and I've just changed charts on the screen here, You can see we've got Saturn in Pisces in your first house, which is sextiling Uranus and Taurus in your third house. It is also sextiling Mars in Capricorn in your 11th house. So now we're combining the energies, or we're seeing an interplay between the first, third, and 11th houses. The third and the 11th houses are both social houses in astrology. They are related, they're sort of like business houses as well in astrology, and you're at the apex, right? So, and I say that because Saturn is in your first house. So we call this a small talent triangle or a small grand trine in astrology, when we've got one planet making two sextiles that in turn make a trine. And so it's quite a positive and uncommon astrological configuration. Ultimately, this once again is showing an opportunity for you to double down and invest in yourself, invest in your skills, invest in your talents, accept offers of help, accept offers of support, accept freebies. Maybe that is like free educational content, equipment, PDFs, webinars, anything that's going to help you to expand. Maybe there's a networking event that you are being invited to. That's another function of the 11th house and even the third house as well. So, say yes to networking events, say yes to social engagements, or even parties, even if it seems unrelated to business, because that may lead you down a path of career development and growth and expansion going forward, even if it's not to do with quote unquote career. Maybe this is about joining certain clubs or communities, expanding your friendship group or network further. So the third house is like your closer friends, so like your small group of friends, so maybe like you and a few girlfriends or guy friends catch up, maybe school friends or whatever. And then the 11th house is like your wider network, 6 degrees of separation, who's who in the zoo, as my boyfriend likes to say. I don't know where he got that from, but the point is that around the 20th of January, if there are social events that you are invited to and you do attend these, there may be some kind of friendship group that actually forms as a result, or you end up being part of a community or a club, which can really benefit you socially speaking. Okay, so moving along, Pisces, between the 20th and the 23rd of January, we are going to see the Sun, Mercury, and Mars all entering the sign of Aquarius in your 12th house. And so thus begins a massive activation to your 12th house. We will have no less than 5 planets all in your 12th house for 2 weeks, from the 23rd of January through till the 7th of February. And between the 20th and the 29th of January, we'll have 6 conjunctions occurring. So Venus conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury conjunct Pluto, Sun conjunct Pluto, Mars conjunct Pluto, and Mercury conjunct Venus. So you don't have to remember all of those, just know that that's a lot of conjunctions. And as I said to one of the other signs, because the 12th house is naturally associated with Pisces energy, and you are a Pisces, I believe that you would handle this activation a lot better than another sign that had a 12th house conjunction, because this is just like Pisces energy that you're already very much attuned to. But we should talk about what the 12th house like represents, right? So, escapism, but it doesn't have to be in a negative way. It's like you read a fantasy book, you're escaping. You're watching a movie, you're escaping. You're painting or drawing, and you're absorbed into that thing, right? So or even when you're dreaming, like that's the 12th house, but you're sort of not tethered to reality in that moment, or not in some sort of conscious way. So the 12th house is anything that we do to escape. So of course the shadow side of that is like substance abuse, alcoholism, and avoidance of people, avoidance of our responsibilities, like sleeping far too much, just retreating to one's bedroom and not wanting to participate in life. So these are energies that you're going to have to be aware of and be mindful of. But because we've got 6 conjunctions happening here, like there's newness that's coming through, and the 12th house is one of the most creative houses in astrology. The other creative houses are the 5th house and the 2nd house. So this could indicate that there's a new creative project that you are working on, or that you are divinely inspired to pursue. Okay, so I'll throw a few things at you: photography, filmography, acting, poetry, creative writing, drawing, dancing, musical composition, writing songs, playing music. Anything to do with music is seen in the 12th house. The 12th house is also very mystical, magical in nature, spiritual and esoteric too. So this could be like going more into astrology, into tarot, into past life regressions, Reiki, psychology as well. So studying psychology or working with a psychologist, working with a therapist, receiving a tarot reading, getting an astrology reading done, or getting your birth chart read, which I do offer private tarot readings and astrology readings, by the way, which you can find at Caistrology.com. In any case, these conjunctions in the 12th house could indicate relaxation, rest, retreat, okay, like a spiritual retreat, a yoga retreat. Maybe you are going to attend them. Maybe you are going to host a retreat. Maybe you are going to spend some time at a silent retreat, whether that's in your own home or not. This could also indicate psychic development, intuitive development, working on mediumship or mediumistic abilities, like training yourself in some sort of intuitive capacity. Okay, so I really hope I haven't missed anything glaringly obvious, but those are just a few different ways that the 12th house can play out. Actually, do you know what? The 12th house also rules over things like laboratories, hospitals. It's on the tip of my tongue. My God, I just had it. The pharmaceutical industry as well. So you could be looking at exploring those areas, working in those areas. It's very much associated with healing. So you could be working on your own personal healing. You know, it doesn't have to be like all these external things. It could just be like, I'm meditating, I'm going within, I'm going on my own spiritual journey, my own healing journey, and spiritual awakening, actually. I think that it's very clear that many Pisces will experience a spiritual awakening, even if that is your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth spiritual awakening. So Pisces, the last thing to report is that on the 26th/27th of January, Neptune, which is one of your chart rulers, will enter the sign of Aries, meaning that it will conclude a 14-year long transit. It will conclude a 165-year cycle. You already got a glimpse of what Neptune in Aries is like, and that was between basically end of March last year to early November last year for about 8 months. I have actually put out a Neptune in Aries video already with individual predictions and horoscopes for all 12 signs, which you can find on my Caistrology channel. Okay, Pisces, thank you so much for watching your video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me, please hit the subscribe button. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook as well, and I post very regular astro updates there, plus tarot picker cards and all that good stuff. Enjoy your month ahead, and I'll see you guys in February.